Show baseball season is upon us. Yeah, we're going to pull back the curtain tomorrow as the Phillies open the season. And it's a very interesting team and a very interesting perspective that people have on this team. As you know, I like this team, but I am very wary of going to the post too many times with the same people. And the track record shows, especially in the postseason, a sort of decline. So I don't know how to feel. But I know people are really on edge about this team. And this is what I want to discuss today. I sense very little patience with this Philadelphia Philly team. I think they've earned patience. They've been a really good team, a contending team for certainly the last 3 years. And Rob Thompson's been a very consistent manager over the last 3 years. But I read a headline today, and it says, how long will Rob Thompson's leash be with Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton after 2 disappointing Philly seasons? Oh, the heat is on from day one of a 162-game schedule. And I wonder if the same heat comes from the Philly fan base. I'm reading in this story, it says this. The bar has been raised since the spring of 2022. But no matter how you slice it, Thompson has now managed the Phillies to back-to-back underachieving seasons. And I go, oof. It seems that their win total went from 87 and 90 to 95. The underachieving, well, they declined in the postseason. So does that define what an underachieving season is? I don't know. I look at baseball, it's like once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. And what Dombrowski said, we've been a very good club under his guidance. That's not good enough anymore to a lot of people. You can't be a very good club anymore. This is almost like when the Sixers came into this year, people saying, okay, this is the window. Either you get it done now or you don't get it done ever. And so the Phillies enter a season with, I think, the same kind of expectations. This lineup has been now set for several years, and people look at the pitching staff and say, well, they should win with this pitching staff. And I go, okay, I don't know. I really don't know. I am trying to sense what the fan base is all about. Here's what I know about starting pitching. I can't remember the last team, and maybe people can help me out, the last team that said, boy, my staff is good enough for the whole year and nobody can beat my pitching staff. Not even the Dodgers said that. Ultimately, you have to win by scoring more runs than the other team. And I have never seen a staff with 1 to 5, the Phillies boast this 1 to 5 number, that has been able to last an entire season with that kind of efficiency. It's one thing to look at it on paper. It's another thing to look at it in reality and say, really, when's the last time somebody assembled a starting staff that's going to carry a team through a whole year? What is baseball now? Baseball, give me 6, and I'll go to some hammers in the bullpen to get through the rest of the game. So I don't know if the impressive, on-paper, starting rotation is as important as we think it is. I go to our peeps. Bill Colarulo's with me. Ray Dunn is with me. Billy Boy, you love this starting rotation. You've been touting this, look at the starting rotation. And nobody has this kind of starting rotation. And I go, yeah, you're going to be all perfect all year? And they're going to bring up this Andrew Painter with things, in midseason. He's going to be dazzling. Like, you take a lot of liberty with a starting pitching staff, my friend.
Yeah, I understand. In the modern Major League Baseball, starting pitchers don't average that many pitches a game like they used to, but the Phillies still do. Like, I was looking at a number earlier today where I think last season the average starting pitcher only threw about 85 pitches, whereas Wheeler, Nola, they were well over 90. And I think even Ranger Suarez, before he got hurt, was over 90. So they approach things a little bit differently. But I think when you have a pitching staff as good as the Phillies do, and you still have a good lineup. See, this is why I'm more high on the Phillies than I think some of the fan base is. I look at a team last year that after the All-Star break played about 500 baseball, and you had a lot of guys underperforming. You had a lot of your big stars underperform after the All-Star break, and I just don't think that's likely that these guys are going to do that again. I'm expecting a bigger year from Trey. I'm expecting a bigger year from Bryson Stott. I'm expecting a bigger second half from Alec Boehm and Bryce Harper. And the more I look at this Max Kepler, the more I'm thinking, all right, that is an upgrade in left field. I know he's not the right-handed bat that we all wanted. He's a left-handed bat, but he doesn't chase. He's hitting the ball really hard in the spring. So maybe that's an upgrade as well. So when you factor all of it in, not only the starting pitching, not only that you added Luzardo to add depth, not only that you have Andrew Painter potentially coming up, but you look at this lineup and where their improvements could be, that's why I'm feeling pretty good. Now, I've also been very critical of Rob Thompson.
Yes, you have.
But I'm going to give you some numbers like I used to do with Nick Sirianni, because I always would defend Nick Sirianni and I would base it off numbers. I mean, Rob Thompson is a manager that has the third highest winning percentage of any current Major League Baseball manager right now. He has the 24th highest winning percentage in MLB history, and 14 of the 23 managers above him are Hall of Fame guys. So when Marcus Hayes puts in there that he has managed this team to 2 disappointing seasons. Underachieving. Well, that's not entirely accurate. Yes, postseason disappointment, I agree. Regular season? No way. And you mentioned it. They've won more games each season in the last 3. That's why I felt like Rob Thompson deserved to come back. But I'm hoping that he has learned from the postseason failures of the last 2 years, and we see a different manager come October and down the stretch of this season. But I do think fans should be a little bit more positive than they are in light of everything I just said.
So are you sensing that fans are not positive?
Absolutely not.
Well,
I think a majority of fans are either in one of 2 camps. 1, wake me up when October gets here. Or 2, the window's closed. This group's never going to win anything. They're too old. They're aging. They don't care. There's all these fans who have just turned on this team. We had the texter yesterday who said they're a bunch of fraud choke artists.
Well, he's an idiot.
But I think there are fans that have that. I think there are fans that have that mentality, but there's a lot of people who are, hey, wake me up in October. And I think that would be a sad way to approach this season, especially when you don't have the Sixers, you don't have the Flyers. Let's try to enjoy the regular season because this team has been very good the last 2, 3
I got
regular
news
seasons.
for you. Here's what I sense. I sense that the Phillies get off to this, 3-3, 3-4, 4-5, 5-4, something like that. People are going to be squeezing.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
People are going to be squeezing, and I don't really know what it means. I am very wary of going to the post with the same every single time, and I like to freshen things up a little bit. I don't know where they could have freshened things up, so maybe I'm talking through my hat here. But I also look at the starting rotation, and I think it's more a perfect world than reality that these starters are going to all be healthy. We already got one guy that's not healthy, and I think that's going to continue all year. My sense of Ranger Suarez, it's going to be up, it's going to be down, it's going to be down and up and down the whole year. So they're going to struggle with that the whole year. The 5th starter, they may struggle with that as well when they have to put in the Taiwan Walkers of the world or the Michael Mercados or whoever going to throw in there or the guy they just got. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but my eyes are wide open. So let's go to Mr. Philly Optimism, who's the only guy today that remembered to go backwards hat. And I laud Ray Dunn for that.
And he's the only guy who you would say is young enough to rock the backwards.
He's young enough to rock the backwards hat. I was going to rock it today. I forgot completely about it. You forgot completely about it.
Yeah, and I disagree with you, but go ahead. Ray.
Slightly embarrassing for me. I'm not really a backwards hat guy. To be the only guy on this show with a backwards hat, I feel like I was kind of left on an island.
Yeah, I think you were, Ray, and tomorrow I'm going to make it up.
Yeah, my apologies, Ray.
It's all right. It's okay.
But in any event, Ray, I've dubbed you Mr. Philly.
Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm ready to hear the pearls of positivity from Mr. Dunn.
The pearls of positivity, I mean, you've described what this pitching rotation is right now. You have a potential Cy Young winner in Zach Wheeler at the front of your rotation, and potentially when we talk about length, longevity, and what he's done at the level he's done it for this team, the best we've seen in the 21st century put on a Phillies uniform. And
I've got no problem with that guy.
yeah,
So,
I understand that, but
you know,
anchoring the front.
By the way, this just in. I'm okay with him.
But I'm telling you, anchoring the front of your rotation. Like sometimes we throw ourselves so much to the concerns, we forget what we actually have in front of us. And a rotation that's anchored by Wheeler, and then you have 3 guys following him that can give you top-notch level starting pitching anytime they walk out there with Luzardo, with Sanchez, with Aaron Nola. That's a recipe to 90 wins right there, and a recipe in the postseason to put yourself in a really good spot. And they do something that a lot of rotations in baseball have not done for their teams over the last couple of years, and that's keep this bullpen from throwing the number of innings that a lot of other bullpens will be tasked with throwing throughout this season. That gives you a chance to get to the postseason a little bit fresher than other bullpens. We can get to the lineup, but I think that there is a little bit of underrating what you have at a pitching staff, I think, from the people that are so concerned about what they're watching because they're so concerned about the offense.
How many stacked rotations have there been lately, though? People don't stack rotation anymore. They get a couple guys in their rotation, and they get 6-inning guys, and they load up on really big depth in the bullpen these days. Big depth. That's what wins.
Well, the Dodgers got a stacked rotation.
They
also have a great lineup.
Now they have a great bullpen as well. And last year, when their rotation was hurt, their bullpen carried them. All right, well, listen, I want to know how the people feel about this. We're on the precipice of another season that starts mañana against the always tough Washington Nationals. Here's how you get into the show. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic.
We want to hear from you. So text
Missanelli Show. Oh, did Bill pick out this song? Doesn't matter, Barry. Didn't go to work yet on your songs?
I have not. Sorry, man.
He forgot the backwards hat. He forgot about the songs. He's not invested in this show, Ray.
Very disappointing from you today.
Tremendously disappointing.
Thank you very
The
much.
best part about having a baby, though, is that's your go-to excuse for everything. We're not going to be able to make it. Bad time for the baby. Too much work. I can't do it.
Yeah, too busy. Baby in one arm, cooking, teaching math. Yeah.
That's my nights, man.
Stretching my tight shirt over my body so it actually comes down to my belt.
Do you think this shirt's too tight?
No, it's fine. By the way, I have a theory here. Ray Dunn has apparently set odds for the knockout for the people that are here.
Yeah, very sinister, I think, of Ray.
He has made you the second favorite.
Which is absurd. I haven't shot a basketball in a year. And like some people would look at this at first blush and be like, oh, Ray believes in Bill. Nah.
Yeah.
This is more of a way to try to embarrass me.
Why wouldn't I believe in you?
Just ask him.
Yeah, this is a way for me to get embarrassed. It's like, oh, he had such good odds.
Right? So, Ray, is it possible? No, because Ray's too nice of a guy. He's not trying to set you up for ridicule, is he?
I think he is.
I would not do that.
I don't think.
I don't believe him.
I don't think he would do that.
Here's crazy.
I think he has listened to your bluster, and he said, "Well, a guy talks a good game. It's probably good." So,
well, he describes why he does what he does in the odds.
Oh, he does?
Well, here's the craziest part, because when we did this last year, I had only been here a couple of months. So in the odds that he writes, and you could get it on our Twitter, he's got it up.
Or just go to the website, 975thefanatic.com.
So it says, Bill Colarulo plus 150, last year plus 500. Quote, seems like a great dude, and I've enjoyed his shows, is a real sentence I wrote about Bill in last year's Knockout Odds article. I have been advised by my representation not to comment publicly on how my perspective of him has potentially shifted.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
If you ask Bill, he's the favorite. He won't be able to collude with his wife this year, though, which hurts his chances.
All right. Collusion accusations.
Now, you didn't include Mikey Miss in these odds. Is that because you weren't sure he was going to play?
Yeah, we didn't get a final injury report on Mikey Miss's availability.
I don't know. Mikey Miss is still pondering it.
So who has the best? Oh, Tom Alvart's got the best odds.
Yes?
I was told that I had to include him on the odds.
He's last year's winner.
Yeah, he's not participating this year.
He
is. He's coming.
Oh, he is.
And we're going to consider him as a Fanatic employee.
Like a legacy?
Yeah, since he won last year.
Oh, okay.
So if he just keeps winning, does he keep getting to come? Is that how this works?
I guess so. Now, crazy, second to worst odds is Ricky Bottalico at plus 10,000.
Ricky got no game?
Ricky just doesn't care. Right? Is that what
I'll
it is?
read out what I wrote about Ricky if we want to give why I put him at those odds.
Yeah, read it.
There is no greater disgrace to the game than Ricky Bottalico's lack of heart and knockout. As a man who competed at the highest of levels, his competitive fire seems totally gone. I've looked favorably upon his odds in prior years, but not this contest. The Utah Jazz have shown greater desire to win over the last few weeks than Ricky has in previous years. Better beware.
Yeah. Well, what's Ricky's stroke look like?
I don't even remember because he got knocked out immediately last year.
Did he?
Andrew got him out immediately. I don't know if it was it last year? Was last year the
where he threw the ball into the crowd? Yeah.
Yeah.
He threw the ball into the crowd?
Yes. He got quite upset. For a guy that doesn't care, he got quite upset. But really, if there's one person I'm setting up in these odds, it's Ricky. We'd love to see Ricky try. Show a little bit of effort.
Anyway,
respect the game.
Should be an interesting little situation tomorrow night. In any event, I know the text board has to be humming, right? Because there's people out there that are going, you know, I'm stunned at the downward spiral of Philly fan thought about this season. Like, there really has not been that much of a buzz, and now the season's upon us. It's like, And I'm curious to know why that is.
Well, I think the Eagles affected it.
Yeah, but like you're saying, well, look at the pitching staff, and from 1 to 5, they're great. And,
yeah, I mean, I'm more excited than I think most. I think there's a lot of factors that go in. One was the Eagles, and then two was you got a similar. I don't want to say they're the Sixers because they're not, but you're getting a similar Sixers feel from the fan base, which is wake me up when the postseason gets here. Because Joel Embiid last season. dropped 70 points, and there were a lot of fans just saying, do it past the second round, Joel. I think you're getting a similar feel to this Phillies team where I don't believe that the bats are going to be able to do what they need to do come October. I disagree. I think fans should be excited, but I think that's where a majority of fans are. Do we have anything on the text board, Ray?
Yeah, something that's exactly that. C from Bucks County. I can't believe you guys are actually lauding regular season success and trying to excuse the playoff failures. Since when has a successful regular season been a silver lining for playoff disappointments? I don't care how many games this team wins in the regular season. It only matters what they do in the playoffs. Anything else is just a waste of time. This team is too expensive and talented for excuses continuing to be made for this underachieving lineup.
They call him underachieving. Listen. Is the word underachieving fair? I guess when you regress each postseason, I guess underachieving is fair. When you lost it to Houston, I gave a pass for that because I thought Houston was a tad better, and that's an example of a bullpen that was untouchable. 7-game loss in the NLCS, totally inexcusable, and then a 4-game disaster in the NLDS to a team that's lesser than. And they say, well, that was the hottest team in baseball. You know what the Mets did after they beat the Phillies?
Yeah, they got dominated by the Dodgers.
The record was terrible.
Yeah.
They're hot. Their hotness went completely away.
Well, that's where Robbie Thompson tried to pull the wool. Oh, we just ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
And he gave a nice quote yesterday that's almost identical to the quote he gave a year ago from Rob Thompson.
We'll get to that after this. It's very interesting on his perspective this year and what he said last year. 610-632-0975. Philly baseball's upon us. Every night there's a ball game to analyze. I love it. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 days until opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies open up in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler will be opposed by lefty Mackenzie Gore on the mound. The Phillies will have Trey Turner leading off their opening day lineup. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters yesterday that we'd be surprised at how insignificant lineup construction is. We'll see if the lineup changes hold, if they make any, and if they hold to their going back and forth between leadoff hitters that Rob Thompson talked about over the weekend, and if it has any impacts on this team as they get going in the 2025 schedule coming up Thursday down in D.C. Last night, the 76ers lost 112-99 to the Pelicans as they lose back-to-back games on the back-to-back nights for the Sixers. Another loss that's now 5 in a row for the 76ers as they fell in that game. Quentin Grimes sat out due to rest. And tonight, it is the Flyers taking on the Maple Leafs. You'll be able to catch that game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Worldwide Stereo. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program makes it easy to upgrade to the home audio system. Find out what your old gear is worth at worldwidestereo.com/upgrade or visit the Worldwide Stereo showroom in Montgomeryville. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
10:30, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Baseball's upon us. The Sixers lost last night. How about that? And Mikey Miss took the Pelicans. Bang! Another W for Mikey Miss.
It's on fire.
I took him even though that line was a little slender and Zion did not play. But the Pels defeat the Sixers 112-99. Of course, the Sixers, they needed to rest their best player last night.
Yeah, Quentin Grimes needed a rest day.
Q was on the pine last night. Let's see what else happened. Tonight you got the Flyers and the Maple Leafs. So we still following the team, Bill?
I don't know. I'm rocking the Fly Guy shirt today.
I know you are.
But
still following the squad. You like him against the Leafs?
The only question now is how high in the draft are they going to get? I mean, that's what they're focused on.
Where's this game tonight?
I believe they're
Is it here?
away tonight. I think they're away.
They away? If I bet the Leafs, they're away. So if I bet the Leafs tonight outright. Like
yeah, I would bet against the Flyers every game for the rest of the season.
The puck line at minus puck and a half.
You never know. I would just take the money line.
Money line?
It's minus 265.
Oof.
But all
right.
They're tough to watch these days.
All right. Listen, I don't have a bad feeling about this season. I'm a little concerned. Put it that way. I'm a little concerned that when you go to the post too many times with the same, you don't really improve. And so you're going to have to backdoor it again to get through the playoffs. And you're not as good as a couple of teams, in my opinion. I know a lot of people think they are, but I don't think they're as good, certainly as the Dodgers. And I don't think that they're good enough to beat the Braves at this point. I'll be honest with you. I got the Phillies third in the pecking order in the East, and the Mets are kind of right there, but I think the Phillies are a tad better than the Mets. Now, I'm looking at some numbers, some statistical breakdowns for the Phillies as far as what their win total is. This is from The Athletic, the Austin mock projections. They have a 78.4% chance to get into the postseason. All right, it's
pretty good.
It's good. I expected it to be a little higher. They have a 24.7% chance to win the division.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, though, because when you look at it,
24.7%?
Well, I'm looking at the Vegas odds, too. Braves are at plus 125 to win the East, and the Phillies are right behind them at plus 195.
What's the percentage to get to the World Series, according to this Austin mock projection?
7%.
Yes, it is 7%. What, did you cheat?
I'm on it.
You're on the story?
Oh, yeah,
You're not supposed to be on the story.
Oh, I thought you were legitimately asking me.
We're having a discussion here. I wanted you to guess.
Well, I read the article this morning.
Oh, God. Anyway, the projection 90 and 72. That's a pretty good season, 90 and 72.
Well, yesterday you said 90, right? Or did you say 89?
I said 89.
Ray went with 91?
Yeah.
And I said 95. So that's what's crazy is I feel like a lot of the fans that aren't as excited about this season as they've been in the past would still predict this team to win around 90 games, which is a pretty damn good year.
It's a very good year. But see, here's the thing. The Phillies now are evaluated in a different way. They're not evaluated on their 90-win team. They're evaluated on, will they ever get it done?
And we're getting close to the window being closed. This probably is the last season that this team, as constructed, will go for that World Series victory. I don't think the window closes on the Phillies in general, but this particular core group, because Casty's probably not here next year. Do you bring back Schwarber next year? Right? This is the final year of his deal, isn't it, Ray? Mm-hmm. Schwarber, final year of his deal. You probably don't have Ranger Suarez next year. So this group, this is probably the last time you see them have a shot, but you're going to have Harper and Turner, and you're going to have this pitching staff for a while. So the window on the Phillies isn't closing, but this particular group's window is closing.
Did you say closed?
What'd I say?
The window being closed?
Closed.
Yeah, but you said closed.
Did I, Ray? I mean, I know what I was trying to say.
I feel like Fred Gwynn and
I know what I was trying to say. I
Mr. Gambini.
Yeah.
Did you say
2 Utes?
Did you say closed?
I'm finished with this guy.
We have to go back. We have to go back in time. I've never heard it said like that, even though
Closed.
Closed. You said closed.
That must have been just a misspeak.
All right.
I know what I was trying to say. People in the YouTube chat saying, yes, you're correct. I said
You
closed.
said closed. You know,
I didn't hear it.
I'm telling you,
I didn't hear it.
what's that? What was the judge's name in My Cousin Vinny?
Oh,
Chamberlain?
man. I just watched it, too.
Chamberlain. Judge Chamberlain.
Is that who it was?
Mr. Gambini, what'd you say? You said what? Can we go back in time? Can we find that?
Yeah, I can find it. Just not at this moment. I have to wait for it to
Not
profile
at
load.
this moment?
Gotta wait for a break.
All right.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, man.
Hey, and he acknowledged it. Frustrated.
Annoyed.
You get annoyed with the way you say frustrated.
I say annoyed for the reason that my pronunciation of that will always annoy me. So I'm not going to use that word. I use annoyed.
So you do that frequently then?
Wait. You don't use what word?
A word.
He doesn't want to say
Yeah,
it.
that word. I don't use that word.
Because he says it wrong.
My pronunciation of that is always off.
You say frustrated?
He says frustrated.
Frustrated?
I mean, not that pronounced, but yeah.
That's what they picked up
Like
on
you saying
yesterday.
Ben Derek?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But this one closed, I think I just misspoke. I don't always say it that way. Anyway, we're evaluating the way we speak here.
We all have little quirks. I went out with a girl once who said ridiculous.
Oh,
me ask you a
ridiculous.
question.
Is that a deal breaker?
I don't know. I was just going to ask you that.
yes.
I go, what? You said ridiculous. I go, what is it? I don't know. Is that a deal breaker?
Yes.
That's pretty
is.
tough.
It is.
It's a deal breaker.
All right.
Redonkulous.
661.
That's also a deal breaker.
I go, what do you say? Ridiculous. I go, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like I said, ridiculous. 610-637-0575. Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
right, 10:41, Mike Missanelli show. We got the sound of Bill. I just want to see if I'm right. Did you say closed? The window is closed, I think is what he said. At least that's what I heard. And I hope I'm wrong about this because, I don't know.
Well, what we've done here, as we've discussed pronouncing words weirdly, the YouTube chat's going crazy with words that get pronounced wrong in this city. There's a ton of them.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure they do. But let's settle for the one right now. Because the Phillies window may be closed. But apparently it's closed. Ray, can you play this?
We're getting close to the window being closed. I guess I did pronounce it wrong.
We're getting close to the window.
Is that a tongue twister?
Being closed.
We're getting close to the window being closed. It must have been a little bit of a tongue twister.
You were stuck between it both times.
Your brain. You said the word close, and then your brain just took over and went closed.
I think it did. It's funny, though. You don't hear it when you say it, and then you play it back.
Oh, I hear it.
I didn't hear it in the moment.
Closed.
Well, irregardless.
Well, from now on.
That's another one.
This is going to be.
Irregardless.
I'm going to adopt that word. Closed. This window could be closed. All right.
It's not closed, but it's closed.
Well, then, as we're talking about the window being closed, what's your thoughts on it?
All right.
Is it closing?
That's what I fear. I'm saying go to the post with the same team, and there's serious decline in the postseason. Blip, blip, blip. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to decline again, but this is what I'm worried about with the same guys. Sometimes you need a freshener to come in there and change the dynamic a little bit. They don't have the freshener. I know you think their starting rotation is the freshener, and maybe it is, but there's a story that I'm reading. They do play 6 tough series early on. And you were saying the other day you think they need to get off to a hot start. Because if they don't get off to a hot start, people in this town squeeze, which means players in this town squeeze. Because it's the factor. Even though it's a long season. You're human.
Well, there's a lot of parallels between what you're saying with the Phillies and what we just saw with the Eagles. Because we also thought the same thing, that, the Eagles are going to have to come out to a hot start or things are going to crumble. Well, they didn't really come out to that hot of a start. It was a 2-2 start. There was a lot of controversy, even though they won the New Orleans Saints game, Nick Sirianni's decisions. Then they get crushed by the Tampa Bay Bucks. They come back from the bye. You had the whole controversy with the Cleveland Browns. The fans were at a fever pitch. People were calling for Sirianni's job then, but they were able to rebound. So I understand what you're saying, that if they don't come out to a hot start, the fan base is going to get real loud and real frustrated, Ray.
Annoyed.
Did you hear that? Frustrated. But can they guide the ship through choppy waters if that is in fact the case?
No, baseball's not the same as football. I've told you that like a million times.
Well, it's more of a marathon.
But it's also one guy can't get, like, a quarterback can control a result a lot of times in football, and I guess the starting pitcher can, but only one day a week. So I don't know. We'll have to see what the deal is. But let's just continue with this, right? They play the Dodgers, at the Mets, Brewers, home and away against the Braves, Guardians early. And then you have a 7-game road trip. All right, Colorado and Oakland, 2 stinky teams. So they should be fine against those teams. But they're projecting, like, these 59 games. This story is a reach because it goes back to when they fired Girardi, when they didn't go off to that hot start.
Who wrote the article?
Who do you think?
Exactly.
All right. No, I get it. But the numbers are interesting. Like, they'll have played 59 games by June 3rd. When that team was supposed to succeed under Girardi, June 3rd, they were not succeeding. They were under 500. So a projection of those 59 games, if you look at them and you're going to project them reasonably because they have tough competition, the Phillies he projects the Phillies to be 5 games below 500.
How many games in?
59.
So in 2023, they were 25-30. 5 games under 500.
You're missing the point here. This is the Thompson leash.
I get it. But what I'm saying is if I'm Dave Dombrowski and I look to 2023 when they were 5 games under 500, not the Joe Girardi year in 22, Just go back to 2023.
Yeah.
They started the season 25-30, 5 games under 500.
Yeah.
And then they went 65-42 the rest of the way.
Right, but they weren't going to fire Thompson that time.
And I don't think they should fire him this year. As critical as I've been,
If they are,
he deserves the year.
He does.
He deserves the year.
If they are 5 games under 500, with what they think is a better pitching staff, and guys rebounding from subpar offensive years, and they're 5 games below 500 in June, you think Dombrowski would not pull the trigger?
I don't think he will, and I don't think he should. I think that you're running it back. You brought back Rob Thompson. You brought back pretty much the exact same lineup. You've added Kepler. You've added some pitching depth in that starting rotation. I think you let Rob Thompson see it out. Now, if they don't succeed this year, and for me, it's at least getting to the NLCS. If you lose to the Dodgers in the NLCS, I don't think you fire Rob Thompson. I think you make some changes to the lineup next
You know,
offseason.
I like Rob Thompson a lot.
I know you love Rob Thompson.
I don't love him.
You have a song for him and everything.
I like Rob Thompson. However, in baseball, whether you like the manager or not, sometimes you need to shift the paradigm. For whatever reason, that works when there's a difference, because when you get a new guy in there, guys play differently because they're there to win praise or admiration or to bond with the new guy, and sometimes that can energize you. And I don't know. I think if you're looking at this year as the year where you really got to get it done, that window is closing, and you see that they're slogging along early, you're telling me it wouldn't matter to you.
It wouldn't, only because when you look at this team's history under Rob Thompson in 3 seasons, they've never been able to put together a 162-game season. Like last year, it was they came out to a hot start, and then they got just pretty average down the stretch and then losing the NLDS.
What's worse, a hot start or a slow start?
Well, with the way this Phillies team has been, you could almost make the argument start out slow, finish strong.
Are you telling me that you would be unfazed by a slow start?
I think I would be unfazed by a slow start. I'm saying that now. Now, in the moment, I may be more heated when I see the way they're losing games potentially. But if they're hovering around 500 through the first couple months of the season, I'm not going to overreact.
They haven't even played a game yet, and people are panicking. They haven't played a game. They haven't tossed the ball into the mound yet. People are going, I don't know. If they get off to a slow start, what would be the buzz in this town?
It would be bad. It would be bad.
610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 days until opening day. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Corona. Don't miss the Mike Missanelli Show live from Chickies and Pete's on the Boulevard in the Northeast on March 31st for the home opener. Thanks to Corona. Join him from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for awesome prizes, $5 Corona bottles, and $4 Modelo drafts. Phillies open up in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler taking the mound, opposed by lefty Mackenzie Gore for the Nationals. The Phillies will have Trey Turner leading off in their opening day lineup. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters yesterday that we'd be surprised at how insignificant lineup construction is. We'll see if any of the lineup changes they've talked about this offseason and this spring training hold, and if they have any impact on this team. Again, everything getting started Thursday in D.C. against the Nationals. Last night, 76ers lost 112-99 to the Pelicans, losing their 5th straight game in a row. The loss drops the Sixers to 23-49. They remain tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. Next up is a matchup with the team that has the worst record in the NBA. They'll host the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. Flyers on the road against the Maple Leafs tonight. Pregame coverage beginning right here on the Fanatic at 6:30. You can tune in the game again right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Worldwide Stereo. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program makes it easy to upgrade your home audio system. Find out what your old gear is worth at worldwidestereo.com/upgrade or visit the Worldwide Stereo showroom in Montgomeryville. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
10:55, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Talking Phillies today. I had a question. Sunday nights, do you watch that White Lotus show?
I haven't started watching it yet. It's on my list, though.
You will watch it?
I'll watch it because I've seen some buzz. It's supposed to be pretty good. And it's got Christopher. Christopher's in it.
No. That's the second season.
Ah, so I don't even know. I just saw his picture.
That season's gone already.
Well, I got to start from the beginning, though.
Well, the beginning is season 1.
I was saying I'm going to start at season 1.
You're going to start at season 1.
I'll get to Christopher.
That season was all right. They were in Sicily.
I don't even know what the show's about. I have no idea.
It's about a hotel. People go, all these different personalities are at this hotel vacationing. So
and every season is completely unique?
Every season is a different location. So they're in Thailand now.
Gotcha. So I had no idea, but I'll watch it.
Yeah, I don't understand. For the people that watch this show,
don't give any spoilers.
No, I'm not going to give any spoilers. The first season was intriguing. Second season, all right, I got it. The third season, I'm going, does anything ever happen? I wonder if people are thinking the same thing.
As you said
You got 2 left.
As you said that, Go Birds on YouTube, season 3 is very slow. Is that what you're watching? Season 3?
There's 2 left. I'm going, unless there's a volcano that explodes and melts them all. What? Where is this leading?
Well, I'll watch it and then we could talk about it. Can you watch Severance so I have someone to talk about it?
No, I got.
There's nobody here who watched Severance at the station.
Well, you know why people here at the station to watch it? It's Apple TV. You're not paying the fee for Apple TV. There are a bunch of kids here. They don't have the money to buy a Denny Moore beef stew can.
What's Apple TV cost these days? Can't be that expensive, is it?
For guys that are, come on, young kids. What are you talking about?
I'm looking at the cost. $9.99 a month.
In addition to Netflix, in addition to this, in addition to that.
Right now, Apple TV is offering a free 7-day trial. Just binge it in the first 7 days, and then you got 20 episodes.
No, I watched Severance early on, and it was just too much.
I just finished season 2 last night, and I have no one to talk to about it. My wife didn't watch it. You didn't watch it. You're my work wife. Did you know that? And raise our child.
What are you expecting to talk?
Raise our love child.
What do you want to talk about it with? What's your talking points about it?
There's so many things that's happened in the 2 seasons, and I have no one that I can analyze.
Are you saying you like it, or what are you saying?
I do like it. I like it a lot, but it's been kind of a crazy season. Things that you've learned, and I don't want to give any spoilers away to those who haven't seen it. I just want to have someone to talk to about it. I don't have anyone to talk to about it.
We had Matt from West Deptford, and all our blathering. He got tired of you talking about Severance, and he hung up.
Oh, did he? Sorry, Matt.
That's all right.
See, you know what? So you know the premise of Severance, right? Where they put the chip in so that when you go to work, you forget.
You're right.
We need to do that with Phillies fans.
Completely separate from your innie and your outie.
We need to do it with Phillies fans. We should put a chip in every Phillies fan so that they could forget the disappointments of October, the last 2 seasons, and all they would remember is, 95-win season last year, 90-win season the season before, and they'll be excited about this.
What's fair? You reach a really interesting point, and let me tell you, you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. What's fair? Is it fair to ignore the fact that they won 95 games last year and got beat in the first round, or the year before when they won 90 and were coming in with a head of steam and wound up losing to the Arizona Diamondbacks? What's fair?
See, and now I'm more on your side here when I'm saying it's baseball. I'm just as frustrated, and I didn't love the decisions of Rob Thompson a lot of times in the postseason. Taking Wheeler out too early a couple years ago and constantly rolling out Kimbrel even though he clearly was washed. But at the same time, baseball is different. Our frustrations with the Sixers are because in basketball, when you go into a 7-game series, the better team usually wins. When you're talking about football, and you get to the postseason. If you kept losing in the wild card round, that would be very disappointing, and you'd probably would move on from your coach because the better team should win those games. I agree with you when you say it's baseball. I think a manager does have a lot to do with it, and I have been critical of Thompson, and I will be if he makes some of the bad decisions again. But you can't ignore the marathon of a 162-game season and a team that's won over 90 games 2 years in a row, who's been to the postseason 3 years in a row. Like, that is pretty incredible.
Here's where you can get them off the hook. Because in a condensed season like the playoffs, there's only one thing that's true in baseball in the postseason. If you don't hit, you don't win. It's just as simple as that. If you don't hit, you don't win. Now, you might be thinking that their pitching staff is good enough to the point where they don't have to hit as much as another team to win. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But you've seen what can happen. If you don't hit, you don't win. And now, to be a hitting team, it is all controlled by who is pitching to the other side and what your mental capacity to hit is. So when you believe you can't hit, you won't hit. If you start off not hitting, you start to question yourself of whether you're going to ever get a hit again. It's more of a mental situation than anything. What balances that are different hitters. In other words, if you've got a top of the order that's struggling and they can't figure it out, somebody picks you up in 5, 6, and 7 because they're different type of hitters. That's what the Phillies don't have, and that's why I'm nervous that this could be a down year.
Could that hitter be Max Kepler?
No,
Because
he's the same type of hitter.
He doesn't chase.
He's a thumper, though. He's still a thumper. He's a power hitter type of guy. They're all kind of the same.
Yeah, and look, I'm looking at Kepler's numbers. He doesn't have great on-base percentages as far as last year, but you go back to 2023, a 484, 332. I was looking at his slugging percentage because that was crazy high. So he is similar. He doesn't have a great OBP.
They're all similar, except like a guy like Stott should be a different type of hitter for them. Like he should be a spray hitter. He should be able to pick them up with a single when there's like the first two guys pop up, one strikes out. Keep it going, and then the bottom of the order keeps it going, and then you get re-energized like that. The Phillies in the postseason have not been re-energized by certain parts of their lineup. They have all hit a wall with the bats at the same time.
I think, and that's where I think the frustration lies with the Phillies fans, because when you talk about it being mental, what we all watched last year were hitters who had no discipline at the plate, who just chased everything outside the zone. Trey Turner was frustrating as hell. Alec Bohm had to be benched. I mean, it just, that's where I think the frustration lies. But can they correct it? We know that that's something that they wanted to work on. Can they correct it? Can they stop chasing? See, this is why I wanted Trey Turner in the leadoff spot, because I thought that would force Trey Turner to be more selective, more focused on just getting on base, and then could that have a ripple effect down the lineup? But what we were told by Dombrowski yesterday, lineup construction doesn't matter. We might as well just throw the names in a hat every day, pick them out, and who knows? Bryce Harper could bat ninth. What do we care? It doesn't matter, Ray.
See, you go too far. You make it.
Doesn't matter.
You turn it into the ridiculousness. So, but here's the thing: if you don't hit in the postseason, what's the cure? You get off to a bad start. What's the cure? What would you do? What do you do? What do you do to get out of it?
Well, I would think that you're going to have to try to do something, even if it's desperate.
Like what?
You got to shake up the lineup.
No. Forget the manager. As a hitter, what do you do?
Get more selective. Try to get on base. Try to draw walks.
That's what you do?
What else can you do?
You want to get less aggressive?
Oh, you want to get more aggressive?
No, I'm asking you.
I think
the natural answer, you spend more time in the cage. You go with the hitting coach or whatever. But that stuff doesn't do anything.
But I think this Phillies team, last season, in the postseason against the Mets, being more aggressive would not have been the answer. They were clearly expanding the strike zone on you, and you couldn't stop chasing. Just stop chasing. Try to get on base. Don't swing at the first pitch every damn time, Alec Bohm. Give yourself an opportunity. Try to manufacture some runs. That's been the problem, is they do rely too heavy on these thumpers, as you're saying, and I think when things start to struggle, maybe you got to go back to just being patient at the plate. Force them to throw you strikes.
But they're not going to do that. because it's not how they survive. Baseball is about survival. You get in there, it's survival. It's all mental. Bill, I don't think you understand how mental.
Yeah, but they didn't
baseball is.
survive last year.
Well, no,
You're not surviving in the postseason doing
when you walk
that.
into that batter's box, whatever your plan is to do what you say goes out the window. You can't take that plan into a batter's box when the heat of the moment is on you. You're trying to survive an at-bat. You survive it the best way you know how, just like when you play golf. When you go, I got to tuck the elbow, I got to do this. When you get out there, you go, what happens?
Yeah, if you have too many swing thoughts, you're
abandon
screwed.
your thought pattern. So the mental part of this is completely your mind is not your friend. So as much as people are emphasizing to you, you got to be more selective. He's going to throw you this, blah, blah. All of a sudden you're down 0-2. And then what happens? You go back to surviving.
I understand that. I do. And I understand that with these pitchers are so good that sometimes you got to swing at the first pitch because it may be the best pitch you get the entire at-bat. But I just felt like last season when it became clear that the Mets were making you chase, just be a little patient. I know what you're saying. The mental side of it is difficult, but we all watched what the Mets were trying to do.
You don't hit, you squeeze the bat, you take extra BP, you grind out, you look at video, and all of a sudden you become a victim of your own eagerness. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Keller.
11:11, Mike Missanelli show. I don't know, Ray. I think you need to play. You need to play my college theme song for a second here. I need to hear it. Here we go. Da, 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 da.
What's this for now?
I'm going to tell you what it's for.
We already celebrated the wrestling national championship.
Less than 48 hours after locking up its 12th national title in 14 years, Penn State Wrestling has added a world champion. Japan's Masasuke Ono, or Masasuke Ono, who won the world title in Albania this past October, announced that he is signed to join the Penn State Nittany Lions wrestling team.
So you feel good that you've become the Yankees of college wrestling? You feel good about that? You just go out and pay your way to championships?
This Masanosuke Ono at 61 kilograms, world title. This is like a great European player signing with Duke.
Ray, Mr. SAT, quick math. 61 kilograms. How much does he weigh in pounds?
It's a lightweight.
I don't know.
Isn't that a lightweight?
No idea.
Yeah, it's like 135.
135?
Oh,
boy.
lighter than me.
See, they come from all over. Oh, I went to go to Penn State. Yes.
Did you ever wrestle?
Yes, I did in junior high school. Because it was my 7th grade team. Because we didn't have a basketball team. It was either 7th or 8th. Maybe 7th. I think 8th grade we had a basketball team. But we didn't have a basketball season because they didn't know 7th. So I went for wrestling. Won my weight class.
You're pretty good?
Yeah, I won my weight class.
Ray, did you ever wrestle?
Come on.
What? You could be
Real on this one.
There's lightweights.
Yeah.
I was really in 7th grade. I was really light. I was lightweight, so I was like 100 pounds. I don't know. What are you in 7th grade?
Yeah, you're light. I remember I was about 5 years old, and I convinced my mom I wanted to go out for wrestling. And she brought me to Triton High School. They had some sort of like clinic for young kids. And when I got there, I realized that there were no ropes, and it wasn't WWF. So I never went back.
Yeah, I learned all the technical
It was
things.
completely different than what I thought wrestling was.
The takedowns, the escapes, the moves, I learned all that stuff. Yeah, we had a good wrestling coach.
It's a tough sport, man.
It is.
For what they go
the
through.
Practices are grueling.
Well, I remember in high school when I played football, a couple of my teammates were wrestlers, and I went to just watch a wrestling practice one time, like, oh my God. Like, that's a tough sport.
It's crazy. All right. Let's get back to the text board. I know we got a lot of text happening with this Philly situation. Ray, what we got here?
All right, we got both ends of the spectrum here. We'll start with Dez in South Philly. I believe the Phillies will be good and make the postseason, but I have a hard time believing that when it matters most, that these hitters will all of a sudden have better habits at the plate.
See, this is the problem now. When a team like this sets up their fan base, how do you treat the regular season? The only thing that now matters is whether they're going to succeed in the postseason. They have set their fan base up to only look at that. So are we going to be able to grind out this season? Is it going to be a grind? Like every game's going to be a grind? We're going to be able to have fun and watch a ball game?
It is, but at the same time, and this is where I'm kind of like on both sides of the fence here, because I've been critical of Rob Thompson. I've been critical of Dombrowski. But you do have to enjoy the regular season. It's not easy to make the postseason. I know it's easier now with that extra wild card, but how many years did we go without smelling Red October? So I don't think we should just take that all for granted. It's a long season. A lot can happen over 162 games. And I think we should try to enjoy the ride because this is probably the last time you will see this Phillies team as it's constructed. You're not going to probably have all these guys next year, so try to enjoy the ride. You can't win in October until you get to October. And we got 162 games to go, so I think fans should try to embrace it and say, let's enjoy this Philly season, especially because I keep coming back to, you got nothing else. You're not enjoying the Sixers postseason. You're not enjoying the Flyers postseason run. So what are you going to do? You're just going to hold out hope until August?
We'll start to enjoy baseball as soon as it starts. When we get to these warm spring nights and the smell of the ballpark and the smell of the concessions. And speaking of concessions, Did you see what the Mets are serving?
That's not real.
It's not.
No. Right, Ray?
It's a
No, it's
the
not
dog
real.
bowl is.
I wanted it to be real too, but
Yeah,
it's
it
not
was
real.
fake.
Not real.
It was fake.
Oh man,
I know. I'm upset.
that's an unbelievable deal.
You think you could finish all those hot dogs?
Whether I can finish it or not, for $12.99, you get 12 hot dogs. You give them to your friends.
It's such a good deal. It's fake. That's why.
As a guy going up to City Field, I was thrilled. But
It's like going to Costco. 12 what? 12 hot dogs for $12.99.
I told my wife.
At the ballpark?
Canceled my membership. I can't battle that store anymore.
Costco?
Yeah. I can't. Every time you go in there, it's a madhouse.
Is there a fight? I would see all these viral videos of people fighting in places like this. Why are you why are they fighting?
I haven't seen any fights. It's just
I've seen all these kinds of viral videos of fights in Costco's. People in line with their carts, like people wrestling for stuff.
yeah, it's a wild place, Mike. Wild place.
I've never been.
So you got to have a membership to get in there.
Yeah, I'm not a membership guy.
What I don't like is you got to buy everything in bulk. I mean, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
But there's like sometimes I don't want 700 paper towels.
I'm a guy. I have no need for bulk. Right?
Well, you like going to the supermarket.
I
too.
like going to the supermarket. It's a social exercise for me.
Yeah, the only thing that we liked getting from there, it would be a bunch of paper towels, bunch of toilet paper. You don't have to go back all the time. But as far as groceries, you know my spot. I'm a Trader Joe's
I
guy.
know you're a Trader Joe's.
Oh, dude, this may be a violation being an Italian. We picked up on Sunday meatballs from Trader Joe's, like pre-rolled, and then we fried them up ourselves. Dude. Mike, I'm telling you, dude, excellent. My grandmom's probably gonna be upset if she's listening. Excellent meatballs.
So they were just meat that was packaged.
Exactly. Already seasoned. All you got to do is throw them in the frying pan.
Why would you do that?
We actually throw them in the air fryer. Air fried them.
That's even worse. Why would you
Phenomenal.
Why would you buy prepared meatballs when you could just easily prepare yourself?
You know, with the kids, it's a lot. Always looking for an easier, with the kids.
With the kids, you can't mix. You can't stick your hands in the meat.
that's the new drinking game around here.
With the kids. I'm telling you, they were phenomenal. Even my wife said phenomenal.
Stop it.
Angus beef they used. Traders is where it's at.
Trader Joe's meatballs. Trader Giuseppe. Now, if you got him at Trader Giuseppe, it's different. 610-632-0975. We have a caller? We'll take 2 minutes after this. What's his name?
Rob, from Delco.
Rob from Delco. If you hang up, I'm coming to get you. Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 days until opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies open up in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler will be opposed by lefty Mackenzie Gore on the mound. The Phillies will have Trey Turner leading off in their opening day lineup. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters yesterday that we'd be surprised at how insignificant lineup construction is. So we'll see if they hold to any of the changes they talked about this offseason, the lineup, and if those changes have any impact. As again, things get started Thursday in D.C. for the Phils, the 2025 season, 2 days away from beginning. Last night, the 76ers lost 112-99 to the Pelicans, losing their 5th game in a row. The loss drops the Sixers to 23-49 as they remain tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. Next up is a matchup with the team that has the worst record in the NBA. They'll host the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. The Flyers are on the road tonight against the Maple Leafs with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, expert tax prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Sean Kincade.
725, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. You can call. Yep. We have phone call capabilities for the fans out there, and I would love to talk to anybody else but Bill. So 610-632-0975. I'm just jonesing for another conversation that doesn't involve Bill and, all due respect, my good buddy Ray. I want to talk to different people.
Well, I'm curious to hear from the fans because I'm assuming, based off of the lack of buzz and from what I'm reading on social media, that a majority of Phillies fans are not excited about the season, have the mentality of wake me up in October. So I'm curious if that is, in fact, how our listeners feel right now. I don't think you should be. I think you should enjoy the regular season. I think you still got a good baseball team.
I don't know. A lot of people think the window's going to be closed. So let's go to the phones and talk to my man, Rob from Delco, checking in. What's up, Rob?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Look, baseball is unlike any other sport. I want to remind all the Philly fans how miserable it is when your baseball team is losing. It's unwatchable. But when they're winning, it's like the sun is out in summer and you go to the park and you're with your friends and you can bring your kids and every play is more meaningful. There's no sport where a play is less meaningful than when your team is bad than baseball. It's just no one ever remembers. No one really cares about the home run or the double play. But when they're winning, everyone feels like $1 million when they leave the park. And that can be different than being good in the playoffs.
Yeah, I
get all the Philly people who want to be good in the playoffs.
But see, here's the thing about that, Rob, and you're not, obviously you're right. But when you are successful like the Phillies have been, you set the fan base up to think of only one more thing, which is you got to now win the World Series. Yeah, it's all well and good. You go to the park and somebody hits a double and you score 3 runs in the 8th and your closer shuts them down in the 9th and you walk away and it's happy and you've had your fill of hot dogs and beer. But at the end of the day, the team has to be good enough to actually get to the big prize.
So I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying from a regular season standpoint, good baseball is more of a DNA of the season than in other sports. Now, coming back to the actual baseball, I really do. I mean, the $300 million man, Trey Turner. I was all for the Trey Turner signing. He was the best available free agent. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. But it really does kind of come down a little bit to him stepping up. You know, he makes significantly more money than guys like Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos. He's supposed to be an on-base kind of guy, and he's been streaking in the wrong end of things in his postseasons with us. He has games here and there, but he's got to step up.
Let me ask you this. Is it possible that Trey Turner may be on a little bit of a decline?
I think you signed him knowing that you're probably paying for a little bit of past production, but I think people expected him to be better. I think this about every Philadelphia sports team, which is if you want the top free agents to sign here, you will have to pay a premium as for free agency in particular. And I think everybody was fine with that. I just think that we expected it at least a bit more than what we're getting.
That's what I'm asking you.
In those big moments.
That's what I'm asking you. Is it possible?
Especially in the big moments, right? I mean, that's what we didn't bring him here to put butts in the seats. We brought him here to win in the postseason.
All right. I mean, listen, that's why you're saying he's got to step up. Well, my counter was, is it possible that Trey Turner's on a little bit of a decline? And that the step up thing is, maybe not going to happen. I don't know. I mean, listen, last year, people thought he had a bad year. He had 295.
Yeah, but he hit 295 because of how well he started the season. He didn't finish the season strong. After the All-Star break, he hit 247.
All right, 295 is 295.
Well, but but what you saw was a guy who really struggled after the break and then struggled in the postseason. Like, what were his postseason stats last year?
I don't have his postseason stats.
I'm pulling it up.
But my point is,
he batted 200 in the division series. On base percentage of 294, Mike.
Okay, this is why I'm asking a legitimate question. Because Trey Turner is now, what is he, 31?
He's going to be 32 in June.
Oh, he's going to be 32 this season. You know, is it possible that Trey Turner's best years are behind him? I mean, I don't know. I think he's a really good player. I don't understand how these slumps he goes into. I don't understand it. I think he's a better player than to fall victim into these many slumps that he does.
I think it's fair to question if he'll ever get back to the guy you saw in Washington when he's an MVP caliber player. But he could certainly be better than what you saw down the stretch last year. And I think that's what a lot of fans are hoping for. And he's been a disappointment. He hasn't been terrible since he got here. He just hasn't been as good as advertised. But I don't know what it is, Mike. You said you have the Nostradamus medium that you have feelings about.
Sports medium.
I feel that Trey Turner's going to have a really good season.
You do?
I just feel like it's the time. But that's why I wanted him in the leadoff spot. I think that could help him a little bit. Just focus on getting on base, stealing bases again. I know the hamstring affected his ability to run last year, but if he could steal some bases, he only stole 19 bases last year.
He's been afraid to steal bases. He was afraid last year because of the leg.
Yeah.
What bothers me more than anything about Trey Turner is strikeouts. He strikes out entirely too much.
Well, that's the chasing part of it that we talked about.
Yeah, and he's a better baseball player than to strike out that many times by chasing. Like that, I don't understand. Like guys that really know how to play the game, and he does, should be able to follow the baseball with their eyes to the point where they don't strike out as much as he does. He struck out 150 times 2 years ago. 150 times.
Yeah, 2 years ago. But I'm looking at just his splits from last season. I mean, do you remember? I remember early in the season people talking about if this was going to be the best season by a shortstop in franchise history, going up against what Jimmy Rollins did when he won the MVP. Like, that's how good Trey Turner started the season last year. It's just then he got hurt, and he was never really able to recover from that. But you need a bigger year from Trey. But, Mike, just be positive with me for a second. Assuming you get a bigger year from Trey, and you get a bigger year from Bryson Stott, and Alec Boehm is the guy who made the All-Star game, not the guy who needed to get benched in the division series, and Max Kepler's an upgrade in left field from what you had in Austin Hayes and whatever other slop you threw out there, you see this team going back to the postseason, don't you?
Well, like in that perspective, you go, all right, who's going to make the postseason? I mean, the likely suspects are the Phillies are going to be one of the teams that make the postseason. That doesn't mean that they're this ferocious team that is a World Series contender.
No, but
I got to see that happen.
But let's go back to the last 2 years when we were on the other side of this. Were the Phillies a better team than the New York Mets that lost in the division series?
On paper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Were the Phillies a better team than the Diamondbacks that lost in the NLCS 2 years ago?
Certainly.
So you got to get there, and then you give yourselves a chance. On paper, you're right. The Dodgers are a better team. But on paper, in baseball, the better team outside of this past season when the Dodgers were just unbelievable in the postseason, doesn't always work out that way. Look at the Braves. The Braves, they don't always win the World Series when they're the better team. And the year they did, I didn't think they were as good as they've been in other years. So you got to get there, and you give yourselves a chance, especially when you got a pitching staff that includes Wheeler, Nola, and Sanchez.
All right, well, then that's why baseball is so iffy. Because once you get there, you never can guarantee that you're going to do it. But you're blaming them for not doing it. You want it both ways here.
Well, I blame them for the chasing last postseason. I think that was something that could have been changed. I blame them for the complacency last season. After you come out to the hot start, you just coasted the rest of the way, and you weren't going to be able to flip the switch once the postseason came.
I want to ask you a real honest question. Do you actually think that guys who have hit one way their whole career are going to magically change and not be chasers?
I know it's difficult, but I think you have to adjust as a Major League Baseball.
That's not what I asked you. You have to adjust. I asked you, knowing what you know about sports, the guys that are creatures of habit have gotten to the big leagues doing it the same way all the time. Do you actually believe that in a Major League season, they can change to be different hitters?
I do, and I'll give you a case in point. Kyle Schwarber last year. He made a conscious decision that he was going to try to hit better against left-handed pitching. He wasn't going to pull the ball as much. He was going to try to be more selective. And you saw it. Kyle Schwarber basically reinvented himself last year. Still hit home runs. Still didn't have a great batting average. But he certainly was better against left-handers. So he was able to do it. So why can't a guy like Trey Turner do it, who's an MVP caliber talent?
A lot of guys have to do it. Me, personally? Nah, they can't. They can't. And if you can't, you got to hope you win this way. Now, you can still win this way, but I don't think that you could say, wow, they got to change their approach, because I don't think that's happening. 610-632-0975 is how you climb into the show. By text or by telephone. It's the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
All right, 11:40. So tell me what's going on with Jaden Daniels and his mom and Juju Watkins. It's a shame she tore her ACL in a game in the tournament, so she's out for the season. But prior to that, Jaden Daniels came to an NCAA women's tournament game, and I guess Juju was sitting in the stands waiting for her game with her SC sweatsuit on, and the mom, Jaden Daniels doesn't go anywhere without his mom. So his mom keeps a watchful eye on him. So apparently she got up from her seat, went to the bathroom, and Juju Watkins was sitting like on the other side of where the mom's seat was, and so Juju slid in, or either that or Jaden slid in, and they had a conversation. And what happened when the mom came back, Bill?
Oh, well, she was sitting in between them.
So the mom came back. She went away, and she went to the bathroom or something, and that's when the two started talking. And when she came back, she sat in between.
Yeah, she got in the middle of them, and the reports on social media was just, Jaden Daniels' mom is serious about keeping girls away from her son. But now what's happened is people are saying that Jaden Daniels' mom may have put some negative juju on Juju because she tears her ACL yesterday.
Her ACL. But here's the thing. I can see mom being protective of her son with some, I don't know. He's a target for ladies, I would assume.
Yeah.
Money grabbers. But Juju Watkins making like $5 million a year in NIL money. Like, what is it? Is she waiting for Princess Grace to float down from heaven or something for her son? Like, that's not good enough for her son, Juju Watkins?
Well, all right. Jaden Daniels is 24. Ray Dunn is 24. Would your mom get in the middle, Ray, if you were talking to a girl that she didn't want you talking to?
No.
No, you're 24. So, I don't know.
Well, but Ray Dunn isn't Jaden Daniels making $1 zillion with.
That is very true.
That's what she's protective of.
Not
Somebody
yet.
taking his money.
Not yet, but Ray Dunn's play-by-play career is ascending.
Yeah, but
I'm a penny stock right now. That's
Jaden Daniels is
he's Google.
Legit stock.
Yeah, you're Google before they were Google.
Yeah, but he's Google right now.
He is.
You were Amazon.
So
Jordan
listen,
Belfort's trying to sell me at that penny stock place.
This is the question for moms out there. Moms are listening, and you're overly protective of your son because you want him, don't want him to fall into bad hands. Some kind of a gold digger type of woman. So, but
you're like, why wouldn't you want Juju Watkins?
That's what I'm saying. Like, isn't that a pretty good get? Like, wouldn't you be happy with that?
You would think.
She seems to be a very nice lady. She's going to make a ton of money.
Now, she's also very young. I mean, Juju's only 19.
Okay, he's 24.
So maybe the mom's like, listen, not until either one of you is close to 30. Maybe she's got that mentality.
Maybe so he can't date anybody?
I don't know. Right, what's the backstory here? Does Jaden Daniels' mom, has she come out before and said that she doesn't want him dating or something?
Yeah, there was something that came out during the postseason about like his mom keeping women away from him, which I'm trying to find, but now with all this that came.
Yeah, everything now is the Juju stuff.
Yeah, there was what I remember most about that whole story is that people were making the graphic of Jaden Daniels where it just said no girls over the top of it, which was a tough look for a guy that's leading the Commanders to the NFC Championship game to have a graphic that's just your picture and says no girls on it. That's just tough.
I tell you, he's in a tough spot, man, because I'm sure he's close to his mom's.
Well, I think she's his agent, isn't she?
Yeah, like Kevin Durant's the same type of guy. The mom is running the show. And to a large extent, LeBron was in that kind of a mode.
I found it. I found the backstory, Ray. So apparently she was on, I guess, a podcast or something, and her quote was, some girls got a Jaden Daniels wall, and her mom says, you'll get him. Someone's trying to hook him, but thank God he's got a mama like me because it ain't happening.
And that applies to even Juju Watkins.
I guess so.
All right, I guess you got to stay consistent. Ray, let's get back to the text board. What are our Philly fans saying about our squad?
All right, one texter checking in with a couple of texts here. Why is Kevin Long still here? And Harper and Turner need to have MVP-type seasons for the Phillies to make the World Series.
Kevin, I love the people that blame the batting coach. I really do. What do you got? Go hire a new hitting coach. Got to make these guys hit. These guys are professional, 30-year-old plus professional hitters, professional athletes. It's the hitting coach?
Yeah, we do.
You know how much video the hitting coach goes over with these guys? You know how he works with these guys to do certain things? Once you get in that box, the hitting coach ain't there.
But see, this is now bringing us back. I feel like we got deja vu all over again because down the stretch last season, I was getting frustrated with the Phillies at the plate, and I was saying that, well, someone's got to hold them accountable. And you're saying, well, the hitting coach is telling them. You don't think they're telling them. Well, then what do you do? Do we just does Rob Thompson and Kevin Long just wash their hands and say, all right, there's nothing that can be done?
Yes. Because either that or you got to change the dynamic of the team. You have assembled a bunch of hitters that hit a certain way. You can't expect that you're going to be able to change them. It's like a relationship. Well, I'll change her, or she'll change him. It doesn't happen, Bill. You know it.
But what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again?
Bill, it's not insanity. It's just the way they hit. And you're not going to change. How many swings, how many at bats you think these guys have had since they've been, I don't know, 14?
All right. Well, then let me ask you this. Because you asked me earlier in the show if this season starts out slow, if 50-something games in, they're under 500, would Dombrowski make a change to the manager? I don't think he will, and I don't think he should. I think Rob Thompson has earned the entire season. But let me ask you this then. If they come up short this year, this team underperforms, they don't make it to the NLCS, maybe they don't even win 90 games. If you're blaming roster construction, you're not blaming the manager, you're not blaming the hitting coach, should Dombrowski be here next year?
I would have to take a critical look at Dombrowski if this fails. They have assembled a team that is a certain way. It may or may not be good enough. It hasn't been good enough to win the whole thing so far. It's been good enough to be good.
It's been good enough to be
good
really
enough to be good. Now you know when I looked at this year, I go, okay, he needed a right-handed hitter. Now again, they're left. What are they going to do with an extra lefty? What are they going to do with Cody Clemens? He makes the team, and justifiably so. He's a better hitter and a better player than Buddy Kennedy. But what are they going to do with him? What are they going to do? Are they going to throw? Where are they going to play him? In other words, he's a useless player for this team.
Well, I guess what you could do is, he could play first.
But
give Harper a day off.
Okay, but only against a right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, only against the righty.
You're not going to play him against a left-handed pitcher. Like it's a useless position add to a roster. Like he's the 26th guy, and what can he do for you as an extra left-handed hitter? You got them up the wazoo.
What were his splits last year? I just want to look at Cody Clemens. Was he really bad against lefties also?
He doesn't hit left-handers.
Let's take a look. So against left-handed pitching last year, Cody Clemens, reverse splits.
Oh, he did?
Well, he only had 15
at-bats?
15 games against lefties.
Okay.
No, 20 at-bats.
20 at-bats.
So in 20 at-bats, he hit 300, but...
So he was 5 for 20?
Yeah, and then against righties, he only hit 202.
I don't know.
But more opportunities.
This is what I'm talking about. Dombrowski, okay, I got to get it right. I got to have somebody on my bench with right-handed pop. And this is what it came down to.
Dubs.
Buddy Kennedy and Cody Clemens.
It'll be Weston Wilson in a couple weeks.
Cody will release Cody Clemens when Weston Wilson comes back.
I think that's the plan,
and I'll be okay with that.
Well, you're going to have to be, I guess, at least until they make another trade.
This is what I'm talking about. You got to do better than that for me. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 days until opening day. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Phillies open up in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler will be opposed by lefty Mackenzie Gore on the mound. Meeting the Phillies will have Trey Turner leading off in their opening day lineup. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters yesterday that we'd be surprised at how insignificant lineup construction is. So we'll see if the Phillies hold to any of the lineup changes they've teased over the offseason, and if those changes have any impact. All of it gets started Thursday in D.C. against the Nationals, the 2025 season just 2 days away. Last night, the 76ers lost 112-99 to the Pelicans, losing their fifth game in a row. Loss drops the Sixers to 23-49 as they remain tied for the fifth worst record in the NBA. Next up, a matchup with a team that has the worst record in the NBA. They host the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. Flyers on the road tonight. They're against the Maple Leafs with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's 11:55, Mike Missanelli Show. Ray is right. Ray just went to the bathroom, and we got back to the single ply towel dispenser.
I want an apology from you.
No, double was coming out for a while. I think it turned out to be a mistake. Either it was a mistake or it was the towels that they were meant for a Preston and Steve show at WMMR.
Yeah, they realized wrong shows.
Yeah, wrong show. It's Fanatic. They don't. They get the single ply. All right, get the double ply down there.
Yeah.
Where the coffee is. By the way, this is the programming note. I had hoped to have Stephen A. Smith on today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was in contact with him, and he said Tuesday might be a good day, but then I didn't hear from him, so he must have got busy. But I wanted to ask him, like, the latest thing that's come out is this leaked audio from an ESPN producer of some sort who, in a conversation, labeled Stephen an angry black man.
I didn't see this.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to get his spin on that. I'm not sure he addressed it. I was hoping he would address it on my show. Let me just give you an editorial here, a little bit of an editorial. I have to laugh at some white people who ignorantly use that term when referring to a black man who actually has something to say that's important to them, right? Secondly, if you're a white person and you lived and at least tried to put yourself in a black man's shoes every day, you wouldn't have reason to be angry. Like I don't understand that whole concept. But anyway, I'm sure Stephen A. is going to address it, and I hope that he would address it here.
Where's the audio from? You said it's an ESPN executive?
Right. What's the audio from? It was from a producer on one of the shows.
It's recent?
Yes, it came out the other day.
I didn't see this.
And he's said that he had all kinds of bad things to say about Stephen A. and how he's perceived there and the whole bit. So I thought it'd be good to have Stephen, let loose here on the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it on Twitter. I can't find it. I'll keep looking up. I missed that, the leaked audio.
Oh, yeah. It was all over the place. So, did you find it yet? No?
No, I'm searching Stephen A. Smith on Twitter, and nothing's coming up about it.
I forgot who the producer's name is, but it was an ESPN producer. Unless it was a hoax.
I got it.
You got it?
But it looks like... Am I wrong? The producer who said it is a black man?
I don't know. Is he?
Ryan Bertrand?
I don't know whether the producer was white or black.
I don't know.
I assumed he was white.
I can't listen to the audio.
But even if he's black, dude, really? Like, you're going to use that term when you have your whole career? Probably you have had some reason to be angry in your own profession, not being promoted or whatever, get passed over or whatever, and you're going to use that term when it comes to Stephen A. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm going to look this up more. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Stephen A's worked really hard to get where he is, and he's earning $20 million a year because of that.
Well, it definitely sounds like some jealousy.
He's got something to say, and so if he says it, you're going to label him an angry black man because he says it? He's not entitled to say it? What's on his conscience?
Yeah, and it sounds like a lot of jealousy here, too, because I'm reading further that Bertrand claims the ESPN staff all think Smith is crazy and just trying to create attention. Well, I think he's done a pretty good job of getting attention on that show.
Stephen A. has an ego. There's no question about it. Yeah, what Stephen A. said to me, he know the thing about Mike. He's a great sports psychologist, but he knows it. Well, what Stephen doesn't know it? You going to throw that on me?
Yeah, don't say anything. Right? Stephen A. is Ray's favorite personality out there.
It's like, but. It's not just this. It's like I've heard that a lot. Like you'll hear about, well, he's the angry black man. Like dude, put yourself in somebody's shoes for a change before you come to a conclusion like that. 610-632-0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. You are listening to WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, and we broadcast from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is noontime. Happy lunchtime to everybody, and that means it is time for a little something we do called the News at Noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the News at Noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ray Dunn with the News at Noon. Ray Bob, what do you got today?
All right, we're going to follow up on all the Dan Hurley fun that we had yesterday. Because did you see what was being reported that a UConn communications staffer said to the reporter that took the video of Hurley coming off the court?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, I saw this.
That he would ruin his life
Threaten
for
him.
sharing that.
Ruin his life.
How are you going to ruin the life of a reporter that doesn't cover UConn consistently and doesn't live around you?
Well, you can make phone calls to say the guy did this, that. There's a lot of ways you can do it. And if you do it, you're a chump.
Yeah.
You should be fired.
I understand trying to protect your guy, but it's not exactly like Dan Hurley's got a clean resume when it comes to moments like this, talking about officiating and losing his mind. So I don't think there was any real protection that needed to be done on this one. It was going to get out. It got out. And I think Dan Hurley will still be the coach of UConn, and I think they'll still be successful next season. I think we'll all survive here. But something else that came out of this. Fox Sports 1 on a show that I found out exists, Craig Carton was defending Hurley.
What's the name of that show?
I don't know. Breakfast, I don't know. It's something that happens probably while we're on the air.
You used to work with Craig, didn't you?
My buddy Craig.
Yeah.
Well, no, I did a very legendary show with him, which I will talk about in a second. He was a fill-in guy when we were over there at that other station, and so I did fill in with him for a couple of shows, where he filled in for Steve on a couple of shows with me. But anyway, go ahead.
So he was going to defend Hurley, saying that Hurley wasn't wrong when it came to the Baylor and Duke game, which led to John Fanta going on an all-time rant about what it would have taken for Baylor to actually beat Duke. Here's the back and forth between them.
And I'm with you on that, and I watched the whole game, and I'm not blaming the refs for Florida beating them, but I will say this. What he said about Baylor coming against Duke, he wasn't wrong, because there was a free throw discrepancy going into halftime. The Dookie said 19.
This is what we deal with, John.
Hold on.
Oh, come on, Craig. You could have had 6 officials.
Hang on.
They could all been wearing Baylor colors, Craig, and Baylor wasn't winning that game. Baylor wasn't winning that game. You could have had 9 officials. You could have put 6 people on the
Take
floor.
your glasses off on him, John.
They could have had 7 or 8 players.
Hang on.
They were beating Duke yesterday.
They might have.
Could have put 6 officials in Baylor uniforms if Baylor wasn't winning that game.
Well, that's actually music, TV or whatever it is, Fanta, because Craig pushes the envelope like that just to get under somebody's skin, and that's what he was doing there at Fanta.
And Fanta is one that you can get under his skin talking college basketball very easily.
Yeah, I don't know who I assume you know him.
Yes, he's one of the lead voices for the Big East on Fox, and a really good play-by-play guy in college basketball.
So 2 stories of Craig Carton in my experience. And Craig and I were pretty close at one point, and it's still, I can still call him and say, "Hey, what's up? I think your show stinks." But no, I wouldn't say that. So he filled in one day, and he had this story about Eric Lindros. This is a legendary story. People know this story. Do you know the story, Ray?
I know there's a story about the two. I can't tell you anything specifics
and
about.
Bill doesn't know it because he had no recollection. I was on the air even.
I didn't know that you did a show before this one.
Okay, so Craig is on the show, and he goes, I got the story about Eric Lindros missing that game last night. And I go, what? And he tells me why. And I go, Craig, I don't know. You can't just put that out there. I said, you got good cooperation with that? He goes, I got 2 solid sources on it. I go, I don't know. We just can't carelessly put that out there. So we were doing the show, blah, blah. I go, you know what? Here's what I'll do. Let me call the Flyers, and I'll run it by, get their comment after I run it by them and say, we're about to say this, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any comment? So I call the Flyers during the show, during the commercial break, calling the Flyers. I leave a message for the guy that I need to talk to. I'm not getting a return call. Nothing. He has my cell phone. He can call me right back. He can text me, whatever it is. I'm not getting anything. A couple hours in, 2 hours and a half, I still don't hear from him. I go, you know what? There's probably something to it.
Yeah, because they would have just denied it.
Right. So I go ahead, Craig. So he reports it. Now, I'm not sure if it was true or not. It turned out that the Flyers went crazy over it. They said it wasn't true. They denied it the whole bit. And Craig's sources at that point dried up, so he got himself in trouble for it.
What was the story?
Well, he reported it that he missed a game because he was hungover.
Talking about the Big E, you said, Eric?
Yeah, yes. That was the story.
I think I actually remember this now that you're saying it.
Yeah. All right. Now, here's the second Craig story from mine. He calls in sick one day. He did a Eagles pregame show with Gary Cobb.
Oh, G. Cobb.
He calls in sick. I get a call in the morning. Mike, can you fill in for Craig? It's a last-minute thing. It's at the seafood restaurant, Warminster. I go, oh, man, please, can you do us a favor? Fill in, you and G. Cobb do this? I go, all right. So I schlep out of bed. I get to the show. I don't want to be there at all. And I'm doing the show with Gary Cobb and the whole bit. This guy walks into the place and he starts talking to Gary Cobb during a commercial about football. And he's all animated. He's like a crazy guy. He's got a hat on. He's got glasses, the whole bit. And he's real animated talking to Gary Cobb. And all of a sudden he stops Gary Cobb. He comes over to me and he goes, and you, I can't stand you. I hate listening to you, man. And he's in my face. And I'm going, I don't even want to be here. This guy's harassing me. He turns around and walks away. The first thing I saw, I had a big mallet of oyster crackers in front of me, a big goblet of oyster crackers. I grabbed an oyster cracker and I fired it at the guy. Bang! I hit him right in the back of the head. The oyster cracker breaks on his head, falls on the ground. The guy turns around and I stand up like this, like, don't you better not come. And he walks out. He rushes out of the place. A week and a half later, I get a package in the mail. It's a little box. I open it up. It's like a paper clips box. I open the paper clips box. It's a broken oyster cracker with a note in it. It says, Mike, I was at the seafood restaurant a week and a half ago when you fired that oyster cracker and hit the guy in the head. I figured you would like this as a souvenir.
Wait, did the guy know you were Mike and not Craig?
Yes.
I thought he thought you were Craig Carter.
No, he knew it was me. I was filling in. He addressed it to me. Came to the station, the little broken oyster cracker.
Do you
in a
still
box.
have him?
No.
Not on a shelf somewhere as a memento?
I don't have it, no. I'm sorry. I digress, right? Go ahead. What's story number 2?
In a slow time in sports, that was the best news at noon we could have put on today, Mike. I appreciate both of those stories. All right, I'll do 2 more quickly for you here. Tonight in the association, you get Jimmy Butler back in Miami against the Heat. He doesn't understand why he's always the bad guy.
I'm always painted as the bad guy. Like, everywhere I've been, I've always been a problem. So we'll take it. I don't got nothing to say. I'm not mad at being a bad guy. It's all the way that everything is portrayed. Some people talk to the media, some people don't. I've never been one to tell my side of the story to almost anybody. Let everybody think that this is what happened, and we'll ride with it. And then in like a year's time, it's going to be somebody else's fault besides mine. So.
Well, he does love that. Jimmy's a weird personality. He's not like connected to anything. He's like out there, and he doesn't care about being disliked. And that's a unique quality.
I will say the one thing that's funny about this is if I'm remembering this correctly, the day of that infamous practice with the Timberwolves, I'm pretty sure he ended up on ESPN with a one-on-one interview that day telling his side of the story, acting like he never goes to the media.
Yeah, that's true, too. He's a con man in a lot of ways. He's a con man.
We can all talk about how things would have been differently, how things could have happened differently.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to just be honest about this.
No question. He's a con man, but I loved him. For some reason, I loved him.
Well, of course you do. Everyone has that
when
feeling.
he played here, I loved him.
But I think now looking back, Joel Embiid probably needed a guy like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think a team that's under-talented needs a guy like him. Now, if he's content to be a fill-in guy at this point, I think he's perfect for what Golden State is.
They got a shot in the West.
He gives some toughness. All right,
last one for you, real quick. Norfolk State head coach Robert Jones saw what the line was on his game. So when Norfolk State goes down to Florida 95-69 in the opening round of the tournament on Friday, he had this to say after the game.
Well, first thing I say, I told you we wasn't a 30-point underdog. Damn, nobody laughed at that, huh?
Not a single person in the room gave him a laugh as he talked about his team covering the spread.
When you get hammered like that, I guess they're not conditioned or you're going to make a joke.
Yeah.
Opening statement.
They weren't expecting the joke, that's for sure.
All right, there you go. That's the news at noon. 610-632-0975. We'll be back after this.
We want to hear from you. So text us at 6.
12:14, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. The Sixers. I know, listen, we got a big night tomorrow, okay? It's Fanatic Knockout Tournament. Your chance to shoot hoops. It's sponsored by Barlow Chevrolet and Delran for honest pricing and dedicated service. I have repeatedly requested Daryl Morey to come on the show again. Last time we had him, we were all Super Bowled up. We were in New Orleans. It wasn't the best time to really zero in on him. I thought I zeroed in on him a little bit. I would like to zero in him a little more, and I constantly put requests in for Daryl Morey. Now, I find it's going to be awkward tomorrow that we're going to be on that court.
Well, I doubt we'll see them, though. Are they going to come down and participate?
No, I'm just saying in general, it's a kind of a Sixer event. We've been hammering them all year. I really want to talk to the president of basketball operations and have him at least comment on what his responsibilities were this year and whether he'll admit how much he failed. And I think if he did that, if he mea culpa'd and said they got everything that they thought, that they projected, they got everything wrong. I think if he said that, maybe he would stick around. I don't know. Maybe the fan base would go, all right, we'll give you another shot, one more shot.
I'm trying to remember when he joined the show when we were down on Radio Row. The season wasn't yet over, even though we all knew where it was heading. He did acknowledge that they made a mistake. Didn't he acknowledge they made a mistake going with the older bench players?
Yes, he did. He did. However, he did not own up to the Embiid situation, did not flesh that out at all on how they handled that situation or what Embiid's personal responsibility was in that particular situation. We have not even heard one peep about what they're going to do about his situation now, which tells me that I don't think that he needs surgery. I don't believe that they feel he needs surgery. He's the only one that thinks he needs surgery.
Yeah, I think Nick Nurse was asked about this. Was it yesterday or the day before? And still stuck with there's no update yet.
No,
they're still discussing
what do you mean
it.
There's no update? See, this is the thing. You owe updates. You owe information to your fan base about this nonsense that has gone on this year. You just can't. How people are going to forget about it and you stay silent? Do you have at least that kind of respect for your fan base to say, listen, here's where we are right now. We don't know what the situation is. We think the surgery is too drastic. The doctors say surgery is not appropriate. Whatever, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But you got to give some kind of information to people. They have bought tickets to this year. They have been disgruntled, obviously, but they still, when they come, mind-boggling enough, they cheer for the team.
Yeah. There's nothing else to say at this point. I mean, you're right. Now, if you're looking for some positives, Ray would tell you, Justin Edwards.
Ray would tell you.
5 games in a row.
Buddy.
5 games in a row,
Don't
Ray.
start with the Ray would tell you. You've been throwing positive flowers around, too, at the end of this season.
I know. When you're looking for positives, though, Ray, I will give you. Justin Edwards looks like maybe he could be a player. He belongs on an NBA roster, potentially. You're playing Grimes.
Being him for what, a half an hour? What are you kidding me?
He deserves a shot.
That's different. It deserves a shot.
He looks okay.
It deserves to be. You have rounded it off all the way in one quarter of a season that he belongs on an NBA roster?
In a disastrous season that the 76ers have had, I would say that Justin Edwards is one of the small bright spots.
How can you tell?
You can't, but at least
somebody has to score on a team. Look at the guys you have out there.
The kid looks like he can play.
Why am I even listening to you?
I'm just curious, though.
When it comes to the guys that can play.
Dude, for being an undrafted player, he's impressed me a little bit.
One of the things that we've talked about so much with them going with the old role players this year was, well, you just got to find someone young. They're giving a young player a chance, and that's the most you can ask for them at this point in terms of how disastrous this season's been.
It's a big leap from giving a guy a chance to saying he belongs on an NBA roster When you have guys out there, somebody's got to score the basketball. You got 50 possessions a game.
Yeah, but
or 100 possessions a game.
But what Ray's point is, you hated, and you were right, all of the old bench pieces that Daryl Morey signed.
You don't know from this kid. He's been in the G League wallowing for how long?
I think
this is rookie year.
Yeah, it's his rookie season.
He just came out of Kentucky last year.
He did?
Yeah.
I thought he's been in the G League for a couple years.
No.
Why was he undrafted? He was such a highly recruited high school player.
Because he decided to leave college for some reason. I mean, Calipari, excuse me. Don't want to call him Calamari again. Calipari makes his move.
We call him Calipod.
Okay, sounds good. Calipari makes his move, and he doesn't go to Arkansas. He just decides, I'm going to stay in the NBA draft, and I'm going to go through this process.
So you're high on this guy. You're high on him. I don't know why. Why are you so?
Am I high on him being a future NBA All-Star? No. Am I high on him potentially being a role player for a team down the line? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Look, we're looking for bright spots, man.
Who might argue?
We're looking for bright spots, and I think Quentin Grimes has shown he could be a nice bench piece too. Well, like when you're saying you want younger players, I think there could be two potentially right here.
Younger pedigree players that you build with, like what Oklahoma City does, what they've identified. Not guys that you take a shot on and you cross your fingers. We'll throw this guy in there. We'll see how this guy does. You got to know. The Sixers don't seem like they know. It's one guy after another. It's like, okay, we're not going to play this guy for a while, but now we'll give this guy a shot. They don't know. They're spinning a wheel. By the way, Calipari. How do you pronounce the word P-A-R?
Par.
So by that logic, it would be Calipari, wouldn't it? You don't pronounce P-A-R, pear, Calipari.
No, but...
See, word fragments, word stems, Ray. You know what word stems are, right?
Sure.
P-A-R is pronounced par.
Right.
By that logic, it would be Calipari.
Which is probably why I said it that way, but it's wrong.
It's wrong?
It's Calipari.
It is Calipari.
I was listening intently this weekend to the way they pronounce it on the broadcast.
Yeah, they say Calipari.
You're correct.
Say Calipari. All right.
I mean, given that the guy hates you, I figured you would have probably the most insight on how to pronounce his name.
He doesn't hate me. I call him Calipari. So I break...
That's what I mean.
I started to double back on my grammar. I go, wait a minute, maybe I've been pronouncing it wrong.
You were right.
Time.
But someone in the YouTube chat says pronounce P-A-R-R-O-T.
P-A-R-R-O-T is Perot.
It's parrot. So there's par and there's parrot.
It's Perot. Mike Missanelli show back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 days until opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies open up in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler will be opposed by lefty Mackenzie Gore on the mound. Me and the Phillies will have Trey Turner leading off in their opening day lineup. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters yesterday we'd be surprised at how insignificant lineup construction is. So we'll see if they hold to any of the lineup changes they teased in the offseason and if those changes happen and have any impact on the year as the year gets going. Thursday, the 2025 season opens up down in Washington, D.C. Last night, the 76ers lost 112-99 to the Pelicans. Justin Edwards had 19 points. He and Jared Butler led the way in scoring for the Sixers, who lost their fifth game in a row. The loss drops the Sixers to 23-49 as they remain tied for the fifth worst record in the NBA. Next up is a matchup with a team that has the worst record in the NBA. They'll host the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. Flyers on the road against the Maple Leafs with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic tonight. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. The Jackson Hewitt Expert Tax Prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com /49-149. Updates also brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Need more data so you can stream your jam mix on loop? Switch to Straight Talk and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5 The Fanatic. During the commercials, I scroll Twitter and try to find little tidbits and little things you can talk about. Ray, I need you to do a math conversion for me. Because apparently this ladies softball pitcher for Tennessee named Carlin Pickens just threw the fastest pitch in women's college softball history. She threw a fastball for a strike at 78.2 miles per hour. The distance between the pitching rubber and home plate is 43 feet.
43 feet.
43 feet, which means it's probably shorter because by the time she delivers the ball, she's got that big stride. Let's just say 40 feet. Round number of 40 feet, 78.2 miles per hour.
So, if I remember correctly on what 46 is, 78 is probably pumping over 100 on it, like the equivalent for a 60.
That's over 100 miles an hour.
I believe so. 46, when you go like that high 70s. Because I'm thinking about the conversion of what it would be. They do that every year with the Little League World Series, where it's like this kid throwing 68 is equal to 80 something.
So if it was 40, it would be 105, 106.
She's throwing something that looks equivalent to, I think, 100 plus.
100. Now, how much time do you have to react to 100 plus? Like that's coming at you 40 feet away, and it's coming to you at that velocity. Like you can't start your bat quick enough.
Yeah, you got to just swing as soon as she's winding up.
It's almost you got to start your swing before she releases the ball.
Now, I learned something recently as you're talking about softball. I always thought, and I've learned that this is a misconception, that the softball pitching motion was more natural, so there was less injuries, and that's the reason why they could pitch so often. That's actually been proven as inaccurate, that the softball pitching motion still has the same amount of injuries as a baseball pitching motion. Right? Didn't you always assume it was a safer?
No.
Right, you've heard that before, haven't you?
No. I never gave it thought, to be honest with you.
I have heard that before. I never knew whether or not it was true. I always just assumed it was something people say.
All right. AI.
Well, what? Even if it was, what relevance would it have?
Well, it's the reason why softball pitchers pitch more often than regular baseball pitchers. Like when you're watching the Women's Softball World Series, it's like the same pitcher.
Are you suggesting Major League pitchers try to do that?
It's possible. With a little underhand.
You can't get the velocity on it.
Well, you don't remember Rookie of the Year?
No.
Ray, you know the movie Rookie of the Year?
Famously big movie guy, yes. Of course.
Oh, that was a great movie.
Wait a second. Ray, being a baseball kid.
Rookie.
You never watched the movie Rookie of the Year?
Is that when he's a Minnesota Twin?
No, that's Little Big League. Also a very good movie.
Kid, yeah.
Rookie of the Year is when he falls, he breaks his arm, and then when they reset it, he now can throw the ball like 100 miles an hour, and he joins the Cubs as a pitcher.
Yes. No, I've definitely seen this one.
Anyway, at the end, he has to pitch underhand because he loses the ability to throw hard and whatever. You guys are not movie buffs.
We just don't love great movies like you do.
I'm going to tell you a movie I remember when I was in my 5, 6 years old. It's called It Happens Every Spring. And it's about this guy who was a journeyman pitcher. And he developed some kind of a liquid, cologne, that made him, like the ball, do all kinds of tricks, like in the air, in midair.
Was it a good movie?
It was, yeah. Well, as a kid, I looked at it.
Wait a second.
It happened. It's called It Happens Every Spring.
You know when it was? Yeah, you know when it was released?
50s,
1949.
49. That's what I'm saying. So they used to play it on. It's a black and white movie. They used to play. I remember watching a black and white. That's how old I am. I remember watching a black and white TV at one point in my life.
It's got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, there you go.
So it must be a good movie.
Go. Now let me get the actor's name was Ray Milland.
Correct. Do you remember his name in the movie?
No.
Vernon Simpson.
Vernon Simpson. He broke a bottle of this bottle in the sink or something, and then he lost the whole solution, and it ended for him. He didn't have the trick liquid anymore, if I remember correctly. But as a kid, you look at that, it's a very entertaining movie. You're a baseball kid, like I'm playing baseball and T-ball league, or not T-ball. We didn't have T-ball. We actually had pitchers, like minor league was called.
What would you, I know the answer to this. I think I can guess the answer of both. I would say, what's the best baseball movie of all time? I know Mike's going to go with The Natural.
Oh, no question.
And Ray's going to go with Moneyball.
I don't know Moneyball. I
No?
love Moneyball, but I don't know if it would be my
I thought that was one of your top movies, right?
Yeah, I would probably. I love Bull Durham, honestly.
Bull Durham is a great
Probably
movie.
Bull Durham for me. I can't have. I love Moneyball, but I don't think I can put it as the best
in my
baseball.
top 5, top 6 with a Bull Durham and The Natural. I've got like 3 baseball movies in there.
Ray, how old were you when you first saw Bull Durham?
Older than you would think. Probably my teenage years. Probably like 14, 15.
See, I was way too young when I saw that movie. Because I remember being like not fully understanding what Susan Sarandon was doing to Tim Robbins' character. I was way too young to be watching that movie. And I think I saw it when it like came out, so I was like 6.
You talking about when she reading poetry?
When she had him like tied to the bed.
And she was reading poetry.
But he's trying to, do more. I was very confused as a kid with that whole thing.
who was the poet? She was.
Walt Whitman.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Nicely done.
By the way, my dad checked in.
So they named the bridge after that guy.
My dad checks in.
What did he say?
A teammate uses the formula as hair tonic.
Yeah, that's what
He has to rub his teammate's head, and at the end he catches a line drive with his bare hand, and they win it. But it ends his career. He saw the movie. He knows
I know
what
your
you're
dad saw the movie. It's phenomenal. It's like, yeah, but what was the salute? Cologne? It was? What was it? I thought he was a chemist. He developed it or something. I don't know. He had this.
Yeah, it says a college chemistry professor invents a substance that keeps insects away from wood. But after a baseball crashes through the window and gets coated in the fluid, he discovers that the ball repels wood. To further his experiment, he tries it out as a pitcher with the St. Louis Cardinals and becomes a master of the screwball,
there you go.
propelling him to the spotlight.
That's the kind of innocent movies they made back then, Bill. Total innocence.
Oh, man.
610-632-0975. They used to do it on Sunday mornings. They used to say, oh, my God, my favorite little baseball movie's on. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Andrew Salciunas.
I get the sense that this is the
Missanelli Show. You got the Flyers and the Maple Leafs tonight. I have a question, Mr. Hockey. Can you carry the puck and flip it in the air to yourself and then swat it like a baseball?
As long as it's not a high stick.
So you can flip it in the air, baseball it, and smash it past the goalie.
You can try. It's not an easy thing to do.
Why do you think anybody has tried to do that? Like on a penalty shot. Like you flip it in the air and wham it. The guy has no idea where it's going to go.
Because you have more control over a regular shot. If you try to flip it up and then swing like a baseball bat, you can't control where the puck's going.
Like you can also bang it on the ice and the guy's no chance off a bounce.
That's tough.
Have you ever tried that, Bill? Mr. Hockey?
No, I mean, I scored goals swatting a puck out of midair.
That's what I'm saying.
But not intentionally. Like somebody shot it towards the net and it was about to miss, and I've swatted it and got lucky.
I get
got
it.
completely lucky.
These guys are so skilled, like coming in on a shootout, right? And you flip it in the air and you just slam it like a baseball off the ice. Like the goalie has no chance where that bounce is going.
But the problem is you don't know where it's going. So these guys are so good that they're able to pick the corner instead. Like their wrist shot is better than them taking a chance at swatting it.
I get it. You would think somebody would have tried that.
I thought you were going to ask me a tough question, like is John Tortorella coming back next year?
No, I know you're a Tortorella fan. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I'm not a huge fan of his, and I've told you my concerns are I don't like the way he communicates sometimes with these players when he benches them, and I don't love that I'm hearing from people like Chris Pronger that free agents may be reluctant to come here. I think maybe Tortorella's done his job, and it's time for them to move on.
And they'll move it into the front office?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Really?
For me. I just think maybe it's time. You took I think you took a massive step backwards this year in terms of where you were last year. I know they're still trying to rebuild, but is he the right guy? We ask that all the time. Is he the right guy for a rebuild?
All right.
Kincade loves him, so don't say anything negative about Tortorella in front of John.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He thinks
John thinks he's done a good job with this team?
Like a masterful job.
Yeah, masterful job with this team?
Yes.
They've regressed.
Yeah, he looks at what he's been able to get with the lack of talent, and he thinks it's been masterful.
Oh, well, I would disagree with that. Anyway, this is Philly time, right? So you got the opener tomorrow, and there's a big Thursday, and there's a big story on how long will Rob Thompson's leash be with Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton after two disappointing Philly seasons. That's what the headline is. It's an opinion piece. It's a column. And so the projection in this story has the Phillies being 5 games under 500 by the first week of June. Now, the last time that happened, it was a Joe Girardi team, and they were supposed to be really good, and everybody thought Girardi was a good manager, and all of a sudden, boom, that happens, and he gets fired. And I'm wondering if the leash will be short. This is a window for the Phillies that's very interesting. I don't know if it's closing. I think it's still open. It's not closing. It's kind of it's static. It's not moving up or down right now. There's a gap. The window's open. I see air coming in, right? But I also have this feeling that, gee, I don't know. You go to the post one too many times with the same type of thing, and in the playoffs, you've regressed every year. You've lost in the World Series. You lost in the NLCS. You lost in the first round. And I go, is that a pattern? Is that like a trend? Like, what is that? Does that mean the Phillies have kind of squeezed out all the juice as far as that goes? Or do they have juice left and they're going to recover and it's going to be a full lemon and you're going to squeeze it and it's going to fill a glass?
That's a lot of juice talk.
It is.
But I'll say.
It is a lot of juice.
I think that trying to make the comparison to Joe Girardi is a stretch by Marcus Hayes. Because when Girardi was here.
Well, you don't have to mention the author. Just mention the substance of the story.
All right. Well, I just think it's a stretch because when you go to the 2020 season, the shortened season, Girardi led the team to 28-32 finish, no postseason. Then they follow it up with an 82-80 finish, no postseason. And then they come out and are 22-29 before the Phillies make the move. it's not comparable to what you've seen with Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson has led this team to 3 postseasons, even though I've been critical of his decisions, rightfully so, in my opinion. He deserves to see the entire year out. You don't knee-jerk and overreact if in June there are a few games under 500. And I keep making the parallel to what the Eagles and they did with Sirianni. If the Eagles would have knee-jerked, had a 2-2 start coming out of the bye and him jawing at Cleveland Brown fans after the Cleveland Browns game, maybe that would have been an overreaction. You don't have a Super Bowl. I think just like Sirianni deserved to see the last year out, Thompson deserves to see this whole year out. And then we'll reevaluate this depending on how the season goes. And I could see a scenario where they fall short of the World Series, but Thompson still deserves to come back. Like if they go to the NLCS and they lose to a better Dodgers team, should Thompson lose his job? I don't think he should. Even if he makes tough decisions in that one. Let me hold off, because if he makes some crazy decisions, maybe I'll have a different opinion.
Are you saying the Phillies have no chance to beat the Dodgers?
No, I think they do. But if the Phillies make the postseason again, and you're talking 4 straight years now with Topper, we're calling him Topper there when I like him.
Oh, yeah, I know you topped him.
4 straight years with Rob Thompson, and then they just lose a tough series to a better team, I'm not going to hold that against the team or
My
Rob
God,
Thompson.
you held it against them last year like crazy.
Because it was obvious to me, and you and I battled on the air for months leading into October. We started the show in August. I felt like a majority of our shows are about this same thing. I just didn't like the way he was managing them down the stretch. I didn't like that you were watching it with your own 2 eyes. This team's complacent. This team is chasing. The guys are struggling. They're not listening to anybody. They're not listening to Kevin Long. They're not listening to Rob Thompson. Do something. It was like, what's that meme with the stick where it's like, do something, do something. It was like something needed to be done. It was obvious. And you allowed the complacency to step in. But with that all being said, when you're talking about a guy who's won a lot of games in 3 years, who's gone to the postseason 3 years in a row, who's got the highest winning percentage of all the managers, he's like top 3.
This is like befuddling to me, right? You're hearing this? All of a sudden he's now in Rob Thompson's corner? Like what?
This has been
is this Bizarro world or what?
An astounding 180 this show has done. I can't believe the baseball conversation that's cycled out of here between the two of you over the last week.
Listen, I think, and just like Sirianni, I know people think that like, oh, I'm this Sirianni lover. I was critical of him when there were times that he deserved to be criticized. Like after they won the game against the New Orleans Saints, I thought his decision-making was terrible in that game for the Philadelphia Eagles. But you can be critical of people, but also understand that they deserve to come back in light of the success that they've had. And that's how I feel with Rob Thompson. I'm going to be critical of him when he deserves it, and I think he deserved a lot of criticism last year. But it's also hard to say a guy who won 95 games doesn't deserve to come back and see the season out. I don't think you have to be on one side or the other.
Listen, I am not bringing this up because I'm anti-Rob Thompson. I'm just saying here's the way I feel right now. I think this fan base is kind of tight. And they're looking at this like they're not even looking forward to the season as much as they're looking forward to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
They want to just fast forward.
They do. Fast forward, and let's see where we've seen how good they can be during the regular season. We know they're a good team. We know they're going to be entertaining. We know there's going to be a dollar dog night, right? All that stuff.
Actually, no dollar dogs.
No
they got rid of that, didn't they, Ray? Isn't it like buy one, get one?
BOGO,
something like that?
That's right. The BOGO. They get the BOGO. But they have all kinds of different concessions, like your quesadilla, your sweet quesadilla. Is that what it is?
The s'mores quesadilla.
S'mores quesadilla.
Yeah, I may have to. I may have to get that. Take a little bite.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Philly fans, hit us up 610-632-0975. Text or phone call. We take phone calls here. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 days until opening day. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. Phillies open up in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler will be opposed by lefty Mackenzie Gore on the mound. The Phillies will have Trey Turner leading off in their opening day lineup. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters yesterday we'd be surprised at how insignificant lineup construction is. We'll see if they hold true to making some lineup changes as they've teased all offseason, and if they do have any impact on this team as the season season gets going Thursday in D.C., the 2025 season for the Phils. Last night, 76ers lost 112-99 to the Pelicans, losing their 5th game in a row. The loss drops the 76ers to 23-49 on the year. They remain tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. Next up, it's a matchup with the team that has the worst record in the NBA. They'll host the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. In Flyers news, they're in action tonight on the road against the Maple Leafs. Pre-game coverage beginning at 6:30 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes at Jackson Hewitt. Expert tax prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
12:55. Mike Missanelli Show. I'm sure we got a lot of texts on the stuff that we're talking about. We've been all over today. Ray, what are the text board saying right now?
We got Norm from Mayfair taking aim at a Phillies player here. Turner, to me, just isn't a likable player. He's a bit odd, too. Maybe his great days are behind him now. Should have put a cap on him at the signing.
This is really interesting. He's an odd player. Like, Chase Utley was never odd. Trey Turner's odd.
It's all about performance.
Seriously? It is. And people are down on Trey Turner right now, so he's odd.
Well, he is known for being a little introverted, isn't he, Trey?
He's very introverted. Yeah, he's not like outgoing, but he never doesn't like talk afterwards. Like you see him, like he's always talking, like he's always being interviewed. He is. He's a little reticent.
But the problem with Trey, it's not his personality. The problem is they give him the big contract. Everybody's excited. We watched him in the World Baseball Classic go off and thinking, oh, he's going to be a Philly. And then he comes out and has a terrible beginning to his career. And we know in this town, once we make a decision about somebody, it is kind of hard for us to change our opinion. Well, and Trey falls into that category.
The same guy they gave a standing ovation to pump him up, right?
Yeah, did you watch that documentary?
No.
The dude who did it reached out to me.
Really?
Wanted to come on the show because apparently he had been on your show before for the documentary he did prior to that. I forget the guy's name now.
Oh, yeah. Well, he never asked me to be on it.
Probably didn't know how to get in touch with you. You probably blocked him. He was probably blocked on Twitter.
Or he emailed the work email.
People can get to me on Twitter all the time. It's MikeMiss25 on Twitter. And you can email me here. I don't think people know how to email me here. It's MikeMiss@bbgi.com. It's very simple.
Kyle Thrash.
Oh, yeah.
And he even sent me a picture of you guys together. Look,
yeah, I know Kyle.
You're at the premiere.
Yeah. Kyle never asked me to participate.
What was the premiere that you went to before?
That Eagles, wasn't it an Eagles film?
Maybe this year it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were at the premiere
Eagles,
there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a decent documentary between, like, the Philly captain, who has battled mental health issues and all that, and then he is the reason that they gave the standing ovation to Trey Turner, even though someone else tries to take credit for it at another station.
I didn't know the backstory behind it. Who did this now?
The Philly captain.
The Philly captain?
Yeah, and I'm just kidding.
Who's the Philly captain?
Yeah, he's a Philadelphia fan. Ray, do you know the Philly captain's backstory at all? Did you watch the documentary?
I did not watch the documentary. My apologies for that one. But social media, like I would say Philadelphia sports influencer, by the best way I would describe.
Yeah. The Philadelphia sports influencer? Well, what's the difference between him and the Mohawk dude?
Same.
What's the Mohawk dude's name?
Philly sports guy.
He's Philly sports guy. And this is
so we have the Philly captain and the Philly sports guy.
It's the Philly captain and Philly sports guy.
Hold on, I just looked up the Philly captain. Apparently, he holds the world record for walking through Dickens Village inside Macy's 25 times in one day. That's one of his claims to fame. Not anymore. Macy's is officially closed.
Oh, no, man.
Oh.
You know, I used to go in that store when I go take a CLE class.
You used to go into Macy's?
Yeah, because the Wanamaker building.
You go upstairs, up the elevator?
Yeah, PBI is at the Wanamaker building.
Yeah.
So during a lunch break, I'd pop into that big I've never seen a Macy's like that. It was like a kid in a candy store. It's like going into Macy's in New York City. Have you ever been in that Macy's?
Never in the one in New York.
Yeah, because I used to go, and obviously we did the show, Steve and I, and I would, so if I got there early, I'd pop in that Macy's. There's so much more stuff in those big Macy's than the mall stores that you're used to. Like Center City Macy's is like 8 floors.
Yeah, it's a lot better. Well, not anymore. It's not.
No,
we don't know what we're getting now.
No, it's a shame.
They're going to keep the organ, though. I was told. I was reading
what are they
that.
going to do with the organ?
I don't know, but they're going to keep that famous organ. I mean, I used to go there as a kid all the time.
You used to go to the Christmas shows?
Yeah, we would go to the Dickens Village thing.
Yeah, sign of the times, man. I don't know. All the old ways are going.
They are.
They're going.
Hey, I was just looking at something during the break.
We'll look at it during the break after I tell them that we're.
Tell them what it is, because I want to read this to you.
Listening to WPEN and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Music Group Station. Broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, what were you saying, Bill?
So we were talking a little bit about Dave Dombrowski earlier, because you seem to be a little bit down on the way he constructed this roster coming back this year.
Didn't do anything.
So I looked at an article on, what website is this? The Good Fight by John Stolness. SB Nation guy.
The good PHIGHT.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he ranked Dave Dombrowski's 15 biggest trades with the Phillies. Mm-hmm. Now, this doesn't include signing Kyle Schwarber, which I think we'd all agree was a good move. Mm-hmm. He also signed Nick Castellanos and Trey Turner, which in hindsight, good moves? I know at the time the Trey Turner move looked good.
I thought the Trey Turner signing was just outstanding.
But you look at what Dombrowski's done here, and it does leave you a little bit underwhelmed. Here's the 15 biggest trades he's got. Number 1, getting Jesus Luzardo this offseason. Well, we don't know how that's going to work out. Number 2, getting Jose Alvarado. Number 3, getting Brandon Marsh. 4, Edmundo Sosa. 5, Carlo Estevez. 6, Michael Lorenzen. 7.
Whoa. That's the 6th best thing he's done, Michael Lorenzen?
That's the point. I'm trying to tell you. There's not a lot of great trades. David Robertson, Tanner Banks, Cody Clemens.
Tanner Banks?
Noah Syndergaard.
What is that?
Garrett Stubbs.
Noah Syndergaard.
Austin Hayes. Greg Soto. Christian Pache. And Junior Marte, Ray's favorite player. So when you look at what he's done, because people in the YouTube chat came at us a little bit, like, you got to be kidding me going after Dombrowski. Look at the trades he's made.
No, let's look at Dombrowski in one area, okay? I'm the general manager. You're the general manager. Bill, Ray, you're all the general managers. You got your ass beat by the Mets in the first round of the playoffs. You knew exactly what you needed. You look at your team, you go, okay, we need to add this left field situation is ridiculous. We need to do something. All right, he goes out and gets Kepler, but he's another left-handed bat. All right, we're going to lose a couple guys from the pen. Hoffman was big for us the whole bit. You got to back it up now from your top 4. It's one thing to say, we're good with the 4. You got Romano. Okay, that was good. But now the guts of the bullpen, you have shirked here, in my opinion. You're the general manager. To complete your team to be a contender, you needed to knock those 2 things down. And I don't think he did.
Yeah, so what you got to do is you got to hope Romano stays healthy and is solid at the back end of your pen, that Alvarado does take that step forward. But then if Andrew Painter does come up in June or July, you potentially got another bullpen arm, even if it's not Painter. When the postseason comes around, you maybe have Painter in the pen. You may have Ranger in the pen. So, I mean, that's what you're hoping. But when we talk about the bat in the outfield, and I agree with you, I wanted a right-handed bat. We had this debate at the trade deadline last year. What could they have done? But, like, when you couldn't trade Alec Bohm and you couldn't trade Nick Castellanos, you knew there was definitely a mandate from Middleton. You're not spending any more money.
You know, in the general manager's office, there's like Billy Beane had those little magnets.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a chart of everybody who's available. Like every right-handed hitter, they know every guy that's there. Okay? You didn't get any of them. You didn't get one. You didn't get one that you could say this guy's got some stock from the right side.
But what they did do is they got a guy, and they're only paying Kepler, $10 million this year? Is that what he's getting? 10 mil?
They got a guy who has not hit lefties.
I understand. Well, he had reverse splits last year. But if they truly could not spend any more money, I don't know what Dombrowski could do. I get it. They got the 3rd highest payroll in baseball. But he was trying to trade Bohm. He was trying to trade Castellanos. And when you can't get out from under Castellanos' $100 million, what were you going to do? That's why things can be different next season.
Who am I asking him to get? Hank Aaron?
Well, you and I had this.
I'm not asking him
but we had the same argument.
To get a right-handed bat.
We had the same argument at the trade deadline. I didn't like the Austin Hayes signing or trade.
Well,
and you said, what did you want him to do?
At least they tried it. He was a right-handed stick. At least they found a right-handed stick. They needed a right-handed stick. They took a shot with Austin Hayes. Didn't work out. Where's the right-handed stick they have now?
Edmundo Sosa. I think that's it.
See, this is the point. You just can't leave yourself bereft of the right-handed sock because people will manage you around that.
Yeah, he's been it's been a little disappointing. That's what I'm saying. Dombrowski, who's And people, Colby in the YouTube chat, do you guys remember how bare this franchise was 4 years ago?
Who cares how bare it was? We're talking about taking the next step.
Exactly. That's my exact.
You can't look at, we're better off than we were 4 years ago. What's that get you? Coffee? Not get you anything.
And a lot of these guys are already here. I mean, you give them credit for Schwarber. But outside that, yes.
It's good. I'm glad you're a contender. I'd rather be a contender than not a contender. Don't get me wrong, but please. You got to now get over the top. You know, would it be the same with any other team in the city? Would it be the same with the Eagles? Would we be going crazy to get over the top and finally they did it?
No. But we can't. This is where I keep going back and forth on everything. We can't worry about October until October, Mike. You have to enjoy this season and watch it unfold. It's a long season. And maybe this will finally be the year where Dombrowski realizes I got to do something at the deadline more than an Austin Hayes.
All right. By the way, 12 o'clock hour that you heard was a wonderful hour. It was also brought to you by Service First HVAC. 0% financing for 48 months, rebates, tax credits up to $4,300 when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system. To learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We'd love to hear from you. 610-622-0975.
Tyrone Johnson.
97, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. We were talking about wrestling a little earlier because Penn State won another national championship and they signed the best guy, some world champion out of Japan. Just getting richer. How much do you think they're paying that wrestling coach there?
Do you know the answer to this?
No, I don't know the answer. How much would a wrestling coach at a major university make? Let's just say like Franklin makes like $10 million. That program is so dominant that like you would have to pay the guy a ton of money just to keep him there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these. Wow. Because I wouldn't even know where to start. So I just Googled it. And it says, like, Cal Sanderson, head coach of the University of Iowa, makes $175,000 a year.
No, I got it right now. Cale Sanderson's the Penn State wrestling coach, dude.
Oh, this came up.
That's an old thing.
Yeah, this is an old thing I'm looking at. Man.
Cale Sanderson. It says, if this is true, it's a bargain. It says Penn State wrestling coach is projected to earn a salary of $725,000 for the 2025-26 season as part of a contract extension signed in 2022.
How much?
Wait a minute. Okay. Wait. $725,000. That's got to be low.
Well, you think about it, it's how much money, and this isn't taking a shot at wrestling. I think it's a extremely tough sport.
It doesn't produce revenue.
It does not produce revenue.
But look at the goodwill it produces. I mean, look at the acclaim the university gets for having that dominant a wrestling program.
All right, let's be honest here. Outside of you, who's given Penn State acclaim nationally for this?
But wrestling is a big thing. You don't understand how big it is in the Big Ten, especially.
It's niche or niche. How do you say that word? I have a lot of respect for wrestlers. It's a tough sport.
I'm shocked by that. I thought he would be making more than that.
But I have a lot of respect for him. It's a tough sport. But I just don't think it generates the amount of it outside of the wrestling world. People don't care.
Well, hold on a second. You mean to tell me some school that wouldn't want wrestling to set like Oklahoma or Nebraska won't be able to pay over $1 million to the guy?
But what does it do for the school? Does it really bring that much attention to the school?
You know what? Wrestling people would have to tell me that, but I think it's gotten a lot bigger, and I would think the guy was worth at least $1 million a year.
Inside the wrestling world,
shocked.
You're right. Inside the wrestling world, wrestling is huge, but outside of it, I don't know that people who aren't into wrestling care. It's not like football, basketball, some of these major sports attract more attention than wrestling.
Okay, let's just say this. I know for a fact they sell out every meet they have.
Which is how many people?
17,000, 18,000 people.
Penn State gets that many people at their wrestling events?
Yeah, they sell out their wrestling. They sell out their hockey. They sell out their wrestling at the Bryce Jordan Center. So like 17,000 people sold out for wrestling matches. Now, when they go on the road, don't you think people come out to see them and also would generate that kind of revenue?
I just pulled it up. Now, I don't know if this is accurate or not. In 2023 to 2024, the Penn State wrestling program generated $2.4 million in revenue.
That's a lot of revenue.
No, it's not.
No?
2.4?
Well, they paid a guy $725.
That's what I'm saying. But if you want to pay him $1 million,
all right.
It's the rule of three.
All right.
Every single employee should generate 3 times the revenue.
Here's my other question about wrestling, and this is atomically sensitive, not sensitive, but I don't know, understand how this happens. I see wrestlers and they wear the things over their ears, right? Like we do here.
Yeah, to avoid the cauliflower ear.
But they all have cauliflower ear. Have you ever seen them?
They all do.
How do they get it?
I think
if their ears are protected, how do they get and what is cauliflower ear?
It's fluid that builds up in the ear. But I think a lot of them don't wear it in practice.
Bill knows.
Yeah.
Cauliflower ear is fluid or just swollen tissue?
I believe it's fluid because it could be drained.
It can be?
Yeah.
I see guys, they have cauliflower ear. They're walking around with cauliflower ears. It's like a permanent condition.
I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong on the text board, but I think it's because they don't wear it in practice.
How do they not wear it in practice?
Because it's like cool, you know? It's like, yeah, I'm not wearing it.
No,
I'm not wearing that.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't know if it's cool, but I don't think that they wear it.
I would not think that's the case, that they don't wear it in practice. You got to protect your ears. Practice, they go harder than in meets.
I don't know. I think that's
Bill's
what
guessing.
it is.
Bill's just guessing as he goes along.
Any wrestlers out there?
It's fluid in the ear, right? You wear you can
Gross
drink.
is what it is. I hope you finish your lunch. Oof.
All right, let's go back to the text board. What's the text board saying? And what's the chat saying today, Bill? You've been very quiet on the chat.
They've been all over the place. They've been all over the place. I don't even know where to start with them.
What are they saying about the Phillies? Are you getting the idea that they're optimistic right now, or like where are we with the Phillies?
I would think a majority of the people are not optimistic. Now, there's some in our YouTube chat who are, but I think a majority of them are just frustrated with the staleness of the roster because you saw it and you've dealt with it the last two postseasons. But I don't know. We should probably have maybe we'll do a poll tomorrow on the YouTube chat because it's hard. They're all over the place, our chat. We have a great chat, but right now they're evaluating what causes cauliflower ear.
Listen, I'm curious to know what does that because I was watching the wrestling, with the Big Ten championships, and I'm seeing like all these coaches, like after you wrestle, where do you go after a collegiate wrestling career? Where do you go? You
either go to the WWE. Or you become a wrestling coach.
Very infrequently. Right. You become a wrestling coach. So you got all these young guys that have just wrestled through their whole career, and they're in their late 20s, and they're on the bench of some Big Ten school, and they all have these swollen, crazy ears.
Yeah, it's a brutal sport, man. These guys are tough. I will say this, though. One of the things that I think with wrestlers is they do develop an unbelievable work ethic that can help them in business or wherever else.
Of course. I just wonder.
But that's where I think you go. It's hard to go anywhere with your wrestling career after college.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but you could say that about a lot of sports.
Yeah, but at least you have a pro opportunity.
Like if you're a volleyball player at Penn State, the women won the national title, didn't they? Where do you go?
Yeah, they did.
Where do you go after?
Isn't there a pro volleyball circuit?
They did just start a pro volleyball circuit. Yeah. I forget what the name
pro
of it
volleyball
is.
Circuit.
Maybe we should start a pro wrestling circuit, see where it goes, since Mike thinks it generates hundreds of millions of dollars for Penn State. Should we start our own?
See, this is again.
You go to the MMA, is what you do. You go to UFC and all that.
It leaks out of you little by little, and people see right through it. Any chance your jealousy juice pours out of your pores when it comes to Penn State. You just took an unnecessary shot. That's Gettysburgitis right there. 610-632-0975.
Gettysburgitis.
Gettysburgitis. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
2 days until opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies open up in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler will get the ball for the Phils, opposed by lefty Mackenzie Gore on the mound. And the Phillies will have Trey Turner leading off in their opening day lineup. President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski told reporters yesterday that we'd be surprised at just how insignificant lineup construction is. We'll see if it is insignificant, if they do hold to the changes that they talked about this offseason and throughout spring training with regards to the lineup, and if they have any impact on this 2025 Phillies team that gets started again Thursday in D.C. against the Nationals. Last night, the 76ers lost 112-99 to the Pelicans, losing their fifth game in a row. The loss drops the Sixers to 23-49 as they remain tied for the fifth worst record in the NBA. Next up is a matchup with a team that has the worst record in the NBA. They'll host the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. And the Flyers are on the road tonight against the Maple Leafs with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 here on 97.5 The Fanatic, followed by the live call of the game. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, expert tax prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Chris and Mount Laurel on the line. Chris, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, bud?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Love the show.
Thank you, Chris.
I have a cauliflower ear update, but I told your guy I would talk about the Phils first, or whatever you choose.
All right, let's talk about the Phils first, and then we'll get to the cauliflower.
Sure. So, look, it's a boring season with the Sixers and the Flyers. Can we just enjoy baseball?
Well, unfortunately we can't. Unfortunately, we can't do that. You know, the city is stressed. They need this team to take the next step, right? That's what the woe is. Can they finally take the next step? I'm sorry?
I can't fast forward the next 6 months. I want to live some life.
Oh, no, I get you. And you can choose to do whatever you can. I'm just saying the general feeling the vibe I'm getting is that there's a lot of worry on whether the Phillies can take this finally over the top. And if they can, it's probably the last gasp.
Possibly. I'd love to see it, but I'm going to enjoy the ride, too.
I hear you. All right, now tell me about cauliflower ear.
So I'm an ex-wrestler, and to Bill's point, it does not make any money. And what cauliflower ear is that when you rub your ear against a surface or you bang it against a surface, if you hit the ground hard, the tissue, the skin of your ear becomes separated from the tissue underneath it, and that space fills with fluid. If you leave it alone, that fluid hardens and it doesn't go away.
Why would you leave it alone?
Well, some people don't like the fact you get a needle stuck in your ear to get it drained. I've had it done a few times. It hurts like heck. But even if you do get it drained, you have to have it casted to hold it in place so it heals. And all of that is very, very uncomfortable and annoying.
And this still can happen with the headset on, with the ear covers.
It can. Those people wear the ear covers after the fact because they just got it. But to your point, a lot of people don't like practicing with them. They're uncomfortable. You can't hear what the coach is telling you if you're trying to run a drill. So a lot of times in practice, they're not being worn.
Wow, I was 2 for 2 with my prediction.
So wait a minute. So the fear of a needle or whatever, the cast or whatever, you would rather walk around looking like produce? So seriously, it doesn't make any sense to me. Now, did you have cauliflower ear?
Yes, and I've had it drained every time.
Oh, so you had it drained.
I can't take care of.
Because women don't like to whisper. Women don't like to whisper sweet nothings in that catastrophe-looking thing. You know?
Yeah. Well, you're also trying to make sense of a wrestling population that's a very crazy population.
Yeah. Okay. All right, buddy. Thanks, Chris, for that.
So Dad, I was right. You guys thought I was making it up. Now, I've had a couple people text me, though, that wrestlers also like it as like a badge of honor. So, I don't know.
Hold a second. You've seen that, right?
What, cauliflower ear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's rather unsightly.
It is.
Now, if you're on a date, I mean, will you think that would be like attractive?
Well, pain is temporary. Chicks dig scars, and glory is forever.
Chicks dig cauliflower?
Ray, you got that reference? Please tell me you got that reference.
I'm too busy over here just thinking about something that I don't want to know what it looks like.
That was Falco from The Replacements.
The description of it's gross.
Pain is temporary. Chicks dig scars. Glory is forever. No, but I think
it's not a scar. That's a piece of vegetable. It's like ridiculous.
It looks very painful. But I think the reason why they don't get it fixed, though, is because it'll keep coming back as you wrestle. So you should wait until after you're done your wrestling career to have it.
Okay, so these assistant coaches that I see that still have the cauliflower ear are still working out with their people?
Or there was only so much that they could do. I don't know. There's so much a surgeon can do to remove the fluid and make it look normal again.
Wow. All right, I'll
say this, though. You see a guy with cauliflower ear, that is not someone you want to fight.
No,
you do not want to get in a fight with a wrestler. They will dominate you. They get you to the ground, you're done. Dude, Ray, don't fight any wrestlers at the bars, man. I know how you get wild.
I'm not planning on fighting anybody with a cauliflower ear. I got to be honest with you.
They will take you down.
I'd be icked out. touch that cauliflower. But
and don't throw oyster crackers at anybody with a cauliflower ear either, Mike. We know how you like to throw those oyster crackers.
Dude, don't you think it's fantastic that I pelted this guy from like 30 feet with a direct hit in the back of his skull?
It's pretty impressive because it's a light bag. Sometimes it's hard to dictate
it's not
where
the
it goes.
bag, it's one.
Oh, you threw
I
one.
didn't throw a bag. I threw one oyster cracker. It was like a bag.
I thought you threw the bag of oyster
throw a
crackers.
bag. No, they were in the goblet. You take one out. I fired
I
it.
thought it was a goblet of bags of oyster
No,
crackers.
it was a bag.
Ray, did you know it was just one single cracker?
I figured it was one single cracker.
One
when
single
he said I threw an oyster cracker.
And that's what it broke, and that's what the guy scooped up and put in a box and mailed to me.
We should do like the oyster cracker open and see who's more accurate with
I'm
throwing
deadly
crackers.
accurate. Come on, man. I was an accurate thrower. I pelted that guy. All right, speaking of baseball, I'm looking at the power rankings for ESPN. The first 5 power-ranked teams come from the National League. What does this say here?
It means there's not going to be a lot of room for error with the Phillies.
The Los Angeles Dodgers, are you ready? Projected record, 102-60. Number 2 in the power rankings. Who is it, Bill?
Number 2 would probably be the Braves.
The Atlanta Braves are projected to win 96 games, and their odds for the World Series are 14.4%. Number 3, your fighting Philadelphia Phillies. Projected record? Oh, Mikey Miss didn't write this story, but they're projected to be 89-73, Billy.
Wait a second. They have them as the number 3 team in the power rankings, but only winning 89 games?
Only 89 wins, Bill. Number 4, who is it?
The New York Mets.
Your New York Mets projected. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Their projected record is higher than the Phillies. What does this mean? Their World Series odds are lower than the Phillies, although their record is projected to be higher than the Phillies. 90-72, the Mets. Now,
wait, what do they have the Braves projected as?
96.
And the Dodgers at 102.
Yes.
And then the 5th team's got to be the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks are number 5 teams in the National League. 87-75 they are predicted.
But the Diamondbacks will win the NL West, right? That's what they're saying?
Well, they're saying the Phillies, by this measure, the Phillies would be the second wild card team. Right?
Yeah, so they would open up against the Braves.
Yeah.
No, not the Braves. The Diamondbacks. Because the Braves and the Dodgers would probably get the bye, right? And then you would
Diamondbacks would win the division.
Diamondbacks would win the division, and if the Phillies were the second wild card, well, no. Phillies would be the top wild. I don't know. I'm all confused.
They would be the second wild.
All right, let's slow it down here.
Yeah,
Dodgers
the
win
Mets
the West.
would be the first.
Dodgers win the West.
Dodgers win the West.
Dodgers win.
That's
the
right.
Braves win the East.
There we go.
The Mets are the first wild card.
Mets first wild
The
card.
Phillies are the second wild card. The Diamondbacks the third wild card. Meaning the Diamondbacks are getting the winner of the NL Central, and the Mets and the Phillies rematch in the wild card series.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you, Ray, for clearing that up.
That
No
is
worries.
correct. The Diamondbacks would have to play probably the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, is that who they're predicting, the Brewers again?
Brewers, let's see. Where
Are they the
Brewers
highest
projected?
ranked team in the Central?
The sixth power ranking team is Baltimore Orioles. So that's the first American League team. They're projected to be the top American League team. The New York Yankees are the second American League team. They're 7th overall. The Texas Rangers are 8th. There are all these American League teams coming in now. The Boston Red Sox are 9. The San Diego Padres are the next NL team to be ranked high. The Houston Astros are number 11. The Seattle Mariners, the Cubs.
Oh, so they got the Cubbies winning the NL
Cubs
Central.
winning that Central.
The Cubbies.
So it'll be the Diamondbacks versus the Cubs. Mets and Phillies.
You're going to need a team in the Central this year to really outperform their expectation, get somewhere near 90 wins, or next offseason around baseball, the conversation's going to be, is it fair to just give the division winner a spot?
Yeah.
Because what you have in the West and what you have in the East right now far exceeds anything you have in the Central.
True.
I think you have 3 teams in each division. I would take over right now the best Central team.
Yep.
It's a good point, Ray. It's going to be like the NFC South.
Would you welcome a Phillies-Mets wild card series? I think the Phillies would mash them in a revenge situation.
Even with big Juan Soto?
I kind of like that Mets-Phillies matchup.
This group's legacy defined by whether or not they can get past the Mets.
Yeah. And if they don't, it's over. Think about this. Revenge situation, it would energize them. They get past the Mets. They lose the Mets, the era is over.
But this would be wild card, so it's a best of 3, not a best of 5 like last year. I think the Phillies...
All 3 games would be in New York.
All 3 games in New York, but the Phillies would be able to roll out Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez.
Correct.
Or Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, maybe, if he wants to break up the righties.
But, of course, Sanchez can't pitch on the road, so...
That's where it hurts.
Bizardo.
Yeah, so they would overthink it.
Taijuan Walker takes the ball, game 3, season on the line.
All right, I got an issue with what we're doing right now.
What's the problem?
It's March. We're talking about the wild card matchup in October.
We got to project, man.
We got to enjoy the season,
No,
Mike.
you got to look ahead. What are we supposed to do? Have bubble gum and hot dogs here? We're analyzing.
Coming up next, we break down Taijuan Walker's last start of the spring.
That's what
4 runs.
Phillies would have to win 3 games at Citi Field. 2 games at Citi Field.
Yeah, only 2.
Play 3. What are the chances are they win 2?
And if they lose that series, whole lot of change next year.
The whole thing might be broken down. Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. Back.
Tuesday, March 25th, the Phillies open.
right, 142, Mike Missanelli Show. I'm about to get into analytical projections for the Phillies' projected starting lineup. Are you ready for what they're supposed to produce this year, Bill?
Yeah, is this the Athletic article by Matt Gill?
This is the Austin Mock projection. So your projected starting lineup, yeah, I guess it is Matt Gill. But this is Austin Mock's projections.
Gotcha.
Trey Turner. Don't look at this. You have it in front of you?
I do.
Well,
I read it this morning.
Spoil the whole thing.
I turned it off.
Do something with you.
I don't have it memorized, so I closed it out.
All right. Trey Turner. What do you think is he's projected to have this year? Give me his average home runs and RBIs.
I remember, I will be honest, I remember he has him hitting around 279.
It's exactly 279.
But I don't remember what he had for home runs and ribbies.
Why don't you...
Am I allowed to look at last year's numbers?
No. Bill, by feel. Go by feel. Home runs and RBIs. What do you think?
25 homers, 75 RBIs.
Pretty close. He's projected to have 23 home runs, 79 RBIs.
Okay.
Would you be satisfied with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more concerned about what his on-base percentage is.
279, 23 home runs, 79 RBIs. Is that an exceptional year?
No, not really.
All right, Bryce Harper.
285.
279. How many home runs?
30.
30 on the button. He's got to hit more than 30 home runs. Come on now.
And 90 RBIs.
95 RBIs. He's an MVP candidate. You got to give me more than 30, 95. That would be an underperforming year.
Yeah.
All right, Alec Boehm.
Oh, this is a big X factor this year. Because pre-All-Star break, you had a great Alec Boehm. I'm going to predict 275.
276.
He's not hitting. I'm going to say 17 home runs.
16 home runs.
But he's going to finally break the 100 RBI plateau. Give him 101.
78 RBI.
Oh, that would be a step back for him.
That would also be a step down. All right, Kyle Schwarber.
225.
226.
Oh, 32 homers.
39 bomberoos.
Oh, if they got him hitting 39 dingers, then he's at 110 on the ribbies.
He is not. 95 RBIs. So they will have nobody with triple-digit RBIs according to these projections. All right?
Just based off of those top 4 projections, this team wouldn't win 90 games.
You're absolutely right. Not good enough. Nick Castellanos.
Oh, Casty. Mr. Streak himself. 260.
255.
Home runs. 26.
21.
And then ribbies, 80.
82. Pretty good on that.
I do not have this up. I just want you to know. I'm doing a pretty good job here.
Max Kepler. Big X factor here.
Yeah, Kepler has never really hit for average, though. So I'm going 248.
247.
Oh, man. 248. But I think you're going to see the power from Kepler that he didn't have last year because he's got that abdominal muscle repaired and all that. 26 home runs.
17 home runs.
Dude, these projections, the Phillies are going to suck. If these are the projections, the Phillies are not going to win a lot of games.
No, there's a lot of RBIs in this lineup. Even if you stack a bunch of 57s together.
Well, what do they got for him for RBI? 60?
That's your guess.
60 RBI.
57 RBIs. 1757. Is that good enough? Well, I don't think so if you're going to be a full-time left fielder. Again, I go back to where's the right-handed counterbalance. Catcher, J.T. Real Muto.
Sounded like Harry right there.
I did.
I think this is going to be a down year for JT. I think he'll start to show his age. Time is not kind to catchers. 255.
251.
I don't think he's going to hit a lot of dingers. I mean, he didn't last year either. 12 home runs.
15 home runs.
And then RBIs, 50.
55 RBIs.
Yeah, but I also think he's going to catch a lot less games. I think
Okay.
you'll see Marchand more.
All right. Bryson Stott.
This is the X factor for me in the whole damn lineup. I think Bryson Stott is going to have a massive bounce back season. He only hit 245 last year. I got him up around 280 this year.
257.
Now, he's going to have a lot better year than that. That may be based off of looking analytically at his numbers last year. I think Bryson Stott may even be better than a 280 hitter. He's going to show that he's capable of being that 300
Yeah, I might
hitter.
agree with that. Home runs and RBIs.
Home runs, maybe like 10.
13.
And then RBIs, 60.
60 on the button.
Pretty good at this, Ray. Billy Baseball's back, Ray!
And finally, Brandon Marsh.
Ooh. So I was just having this conversation with Ricky and Tyrone. They were thinking Brandon Marsh may not even be here the whole season if Justin Crawford's ready, which is an interesting discussion that we haven't had yet. But Marsh, I'm going to say he hits 238.
244.
12 home runs.
14.
45 RBIs.
53. You undersold.
I did.
Brandon Marsh. All right,
that's it. That's your lineup
that's
right there.
Your lineup. So let's just go with a little some pitchers that I'm curious to know what you think their ERA will be. Jesus Luzardo. First of all, how many innings does he pitch?
150.
Oh, that's pretty good. 152.
3.2 ERA.
4.03. Christopher Sanchez.
Oh, Sanchez. 200 innings.
173.
3 on the button ERA.
3.49. Ranger Suarez. Innings pitched.
Oh, I'm nervous about that one. 100.
163 he's projected to pitch.
That's being generous, I think.
All right, let's go just into a bullpen. Jordan Romano. Innings pitched and ERA.
He's going to be your closer. 65 innings.
56. ERA.
2.5.
3.90. All right, there you go. Now, those numbers these are just projections, okay? So don't get all excited.
Well, there's no way Ranger's going to pitch 160 innings.
You're probably right about that. So the Phillies are projected with that to win 90 games. Now you're saying that those offensive numbers weren't good enough. If you're high on their pitching staff, those offensive numbers should be plenty.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess in the aggregate, when you look at all the RBIs they would get towards the bottom of the lineup with Kepler adding some, but I'm expecting bigger years from Trey Turner. I'm expecting a better year even from Bryce Harper after the break than you saw this year. Alec Boehm, same thing. Trey Turner, Bryson Stott. I mean, those are guys where right there in your middle of your infield, if they have better seasons, them alone could propel this team to more than 90 wins. That's why I'm saying 95. And I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just convincing myself. I'm getting excited about Kepler. I am.
Because he's a new guy.
Well, he is. He's a new guy.
He's a new guy. You're excited about the new guy.
But with how he's hitting the ball in spring training, and I know you can't overvalue spring training, but when you're talking about a guy who had surgery in the offseason, if that's truly the reason why he lost some of his power last year, and if Kevin Long really did find something in his swing like we were told he did, could Max Kepler have a huge season as your 5-hole hitter?
Well, what's your huge? What is your definition of huge?
Close to 30 dingers.
30 dingers.
What if Max Kepler comes out here, hits 30 home runs, and has 75 RBIs?
If he hits 30 home runs, he should have more than 75 RBIs, no?
Yeah, what did they predict on there, though? 57?
Yeah. I'm not seeing 30 home runs in Max Kepler.
I'm looking back, so I know it's been a while. 2019, he hit 36 home runs, 36 home runs, 90 RBIs. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, 24 home runs, 66 RBIs. And then last year, obviously the down year. But if you're talking close to 30 home runs from him.
You're high on Max. All right. I like it.
It's been a while. I mean, you got to go back.
You wanted something new. He's something new. He's the only thing new. He's the only thing new they have.
He's the only thing new in the lineup.
All right, let me give you one. Johan Rojas.
That's your boy. You love Johan.
He's hitting. Well, he hit 290 in spring training, didn't he? Something like that.
Something like that.
So, what is his projection, Bill? Because he's probably going to have to play against some left-handed pitching.
Well, he's not going to. Well, they're going to start the season at least not platooning, right?
Right.
So
but eventually, Marsh isn't going to continue to hit lefties. So.
He'll hit like 260 this year.
Johan?
Yeah, because it's going to be limited. He's only going to be against left-handed pitching.
I'll take 260 from him.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling 260.
But it's going to be limited. So
I'm feeling 225.
You hate Rojas.
No, I don't hate him. I just, I don't trust it.
I just don't think he's going to have a lot of opportunities, and if he's only going to be platooning against left-handed pitching, I think that's why I'll hit 260.
I didn't like a guy who admired his catch many times in the dugout. I thought that was really strange.
You hated that.
Yeah, that's not what you do.
What did Rojas? What were his splits last year? I'll look him up.
Yeah, look him up and report tomorrow.
Oh, wow. This show flew by today, Ray.
Yeah.
See what happens when you're having fun, Ray Dunn?
You want to go an extra 10 minutes?
You want to just stay here? We'll let Ricky and Tyrone join us. We'll just keep it going.
Let's thank everybody for listening today. And tomorrow, of course, General Knowledge Wednesday. Do we do General Knowledge Wednesday anymore? I don't know. We're going to have to take a vote on this since we're not getting the phone calls that we used to. What do you think?
I think we should try it again tomorrow. And
try it again
happens.
one last time. Tomorrow will be the last-ditch effort for General Knowledge Wednesday, so we need phone calls. If we don't get them, we'll have to disband it and wait for our system to be fixed. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.